Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NLCS game number 2. Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are up 1-0 in the series. Let's get into the thumb and also the starting lineups. All right, and with the thumb, I had to hit you with something different with the Corbin Carroll on the left, and then my boy Bryce Harper on the right. Start off with the visiting Arizona Diamondbacks. Leading off for the Diamondbacks, right fielder Corbin Carroll. Kind of like the Julio Rodriguez in 2023, big facts. Batting second baseman Cadell Marte, who's been a stud. Batting third, DHing for Arizona, Tommy Pham. Batting cleanup and batting fourth, first baseman Christian Walker. And if they're going to win this game today, he's going to have a big game with Carroll and Marte. Big fact. Batting fifth, catching for Arizona, Gabriel Moreno. Batting sixth, left fielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Batting seventh, center fielder Alec Thomas. Batting eighth, third baseman Evan Longoria. And if Pham and Longoria do well, they will have a chance. And batting ninth, shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. And on the mound for the Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly. This is going to be a good one. All right, baby. Let's go with the home Philadelphia Phillies. Leading off for Philadelphia, DHing Kyle Schwarber. Batting second, shortstop Trey Turner. Batting third, first baseman Bryce Harper. Batting cleanup and batting fourth for Philadelphia, third baseman Alec Bohm. Batting fifth, second baseman Bryson Scott. Batting sixth, catching for the Phillies, J.T. Realmuto. Batting seventh, right fielder Nick Castellanos. Batting eighth, left fielder Brandon Marsh. What a beard. They might just win because of that. And batting ninth, playing center field for the Phillies, Johan Rojas. And on the mound for the Phillies, one of their aces, Aaron Nola. Let's go, baby. I'm ready to go. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Got the intros there out of the way. Megan with a $5 to start us off. I appreciate you. That's unfortunate. I'm so sorry to hear that your wrist is still injured there, but I do appreciate the support that you give on the daily. $5 holla. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I will be watching the Kraken tonight. I did a poll. You know, this game is a little bit more on the line than just a regular season game with the Kraken and the Avalanche, but I will be watching that matchup as well here in about 2 hours. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. And when the Kraken start, this game will still be going on. So I'll end up watching a little bit of both. Thank you so much for your support. And I got some photos coming up here in just a second before we get to first pitch. Thank you. John's in the building. What's good? Daniel's in the building. What's good? Brandon in the building. What's good? All right, let's get into some photos here. And since the Kraken are playing today in a couple hours, it was either going to be the Kraken and the Avalanche for me and Megan, or I was going to end up doing this particular matchup. This one has a little bit more importance, but since I am a Kraken fan, it would make sense to do that one as well. And there will be some moments throughout the season where we will end up doing some Kraken matchups, like we did the very first game of the year against the Vegas Golden Knights. But unfortunately, we ended up taking the L, and we have two L's and a tie, and we're just kind of waiting to see where things go. And we have to get our first dub, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it tonight, but it is the home opener. So I feel that this is the best chance of any. I mean, we don't want to start the season off, 0-3-1 or essentially 0-4. So there's a couple photos here for Megan. Not sure if she's still in the room now or if she ended up having to step out for a second. But if she is or isn't, I'll end up showing these photos again. It looks like you are. You're going to head out to the crack. Yeah, no problem. No worries there. That'll be in about 2 hours. So I got a couple hacks for you. And then I got a couple guys that I think we might need to lean on today against the Avalanche. Crew, we got to have a good performance, and we need goal scoring. We need to be able to find something. Yamamoto, Maddie, Bjorkstrand, something. And then I did read up on the injury of one of our players there, and it sounds like it's multiple weeks, like 4 to 6 weeks, which is a little unfortunate. And that happened in that first game against the Vegas Golden Knights. So prayers up, for the Kraken, and hopefully we can end up getting a little healthy. But that's the main thing. You can't expect, Gru to be able to, get 3 goals or 2 goals or less, given up every single game. I mean, there's going to be some games where he puts up, 0, where he's not going to give up any. There's going to be games he gives up 1 or 2, and that's kind of expected. But if he's going to give up 3 or 4 or 5, we need to make sure we match the goal scoring on the other side, at least to give us a chance. So we put up 3, 4, or 5 when they put up 3, 4, or 5. But the problem is right now, the teams are putting up, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and we're not really putting up anything as far as goals, not to the standard that we had last year. So something's got to change. I don't know if it's going to be, a different line change, a different group of guys, but they got to be able to find that rhythm, and hopefully they find it today. 4 to 8 weeks, yes. And the power play. And like I said, I didn't catch any of the last game, but I did catch the first 2. And power play. I feel that we're being aggressive, but the power play not good. Shots on goal not good, and the type of shots that we've been putting up, not very good. So hopefully things will change and we can get that first dub. All right, baby. Here we go. All right, the game is on TBS. So if you have TBS, or if you go to tbs.com/watch TBS/West or East, you can watch this game along with me. And then when the Kraken comes on, I will be watching that as well at the same time. Sarah and Cyber helping out on the Twitter X side. I appreciate that. And here we go, baby. And it looks like it's going to end up being the Rangers and Phillies is what I pretty much anticipated. I didn't know. And I figured if the Rangers go up 2-0, and I said that even before the series started in the ALCS, that they were going to move on to the World Series. They won the first 2 games in Houston. So, we've had plenty of Astros. It's kind of time for something new. So, even though the Rangers and Astros are the Mariners' rivals, I get it. But I would rather see the Rangers go. And they do have a legitimate shot to compete with the Phillies for the championship. No disrespect against Arizona. They're kind of like the Seattle Mariners, the underdog. And as much as I love Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, and some of these other guys they have on the team, they're just a little bit outmatched pitching and hitting with Philadelphia. First pitch outside, 1-0 count. Right down the middle to Corbin Carroll for a strike, 1-1. Let's go. Thank you so much. And like every single mod and every single, goat that we have, if we can get that type of encouragement and support to get the likes up, to get the subs up, the donos up, and we can get some support, then obviously that'll help us grow quicker. Oh, it's bobbled. Corbin Carroll. Uh-oh. And getting Corbin Carroll on early is going to be essential. And obviously, we know with Nola isn't as good of a pitcher as Wheeler. Zach Wheeler is their number one. Nola is up and down, up and down. So right there, that was a routine play for Trey Turner. And if you make all that money, what the hell are you doing? Come on, bro. Next up, the former Mariner, Ketel Marte. So obviously, we have a kind of a connection with this Diamondback team with Seattle. Corbin Carroll is from the Pacific Northwest in Seattle. Ketel Marte used to be on the Mariners. And then we also have our former closer, Paul Sewald, there as well. And like I said, I like rooting for the underdogs. But the thing is, I don't really have a problem with either one of these teams. Philadelphia overachieved against the Dodgers and the Braves last year, and they ended up being that surprise team that made the World Series. They lost, to the Astros, but it looks like they may be able to be the strongest team going in this year, kind of like how Houston was. So as long as they get past the Diamondbacks, which I assume they will, that the Rangers are not going to be easy. I think that one could go either way. That one could actually go 6 or 7 games. The Rangers could win the World Series. The Phillies could win the World Series unless something drastic changes in this particular series that we're watching right here. But I would assume Philadelphia will win tonight, and then we'll end up going up 2-0, and it'll go back to Arizona, and then we'll see if we end up, I don't think we're going to get a sweep in this series, but I would assume Philadelphia will take care of business. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Marte with the strikeout. One away. Next up for the Diamondbacks, DHing for Arizona, Tommy Pham. They're going to need a good performance out of Aaron Nola. Pitch low in the zone, 1-0 count. And hopefully we end up getting a decent amount of people coming in here, because if it ends up being a low turnout, to spend all that time to make the thumb and do all the prepping, I could have did the Kraken game. So hopefully we end up getting a decent amount of people, because there's a reason why I end up doing those polls, is that, I expect those people to end up, if you're going to vote on the poll, I assume that you're going to end up showing up. So what's the point of voting on the poll if you want me to do this game or that game if you don't even show up? So I'm definitely going to monitor to see what ends up happening here. But if the turnout ends up being low, then, I could have ended up doing the Kraken game, anyways. And obviously this game has more importance because it is the NLCS game number 2. But, that's going to be a part of it as well. Sarah in the building. What's good? There's quite a bit on today. We got Raptors and Bulls, Bucks and Thunder. This is all preseason. Timberwolves playing a foreign team. Then you got Tampa Bay Lightning and Buffalo, Arizona and New York. Obviously on the NHL side, then you got Knicks and Celtics. You even got some Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State for college football. Southern Miss and South Alabama. The Wild and the Canadians, and then the Pelicans and the Magic. So you're getting a little bit of everything today. Oh, you got the card? Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear. Top of the first, Nola on the mound, Pham in the box. Runner at first, Corbin Carroll with an error from Trey Turner. Got him. Nice. Nola off to a good start, because sometimes Nola, he's really, really good. Other times he's going to be very, very shaky. So, hopefully that he can take care of business if Philadelphia really wants to be able to advance and go to that World Series, which they should. They are the best team arguably left out of the 4 teams besides the Texas Rangers. Astros, I feel they're a pretty damn good team, but the Rangers are hot. They're 7-0 in the postseason, And I told y'all if they went up 2-0 in Houston, they were going to the World Series. And that's exactly what the sports gods intended, that the Rangers would go on the road, punch Houston in the mouth. They won the championship last year. They won the pennant, not this year. And we're going to end up getting a Phillies-Rangers World Series, which actually is going to be awesome. Now, I know some people that are Dodger fans and Braves fans are very, very disappointed, especially if you're an Atlanta fan, because you were the best team in baseball all year. But Philadelphia is going to be that team, I think, moving forward in the National League that's going to be right there with the Dodgers and Braves. And maybe the Dodgers and Braves are a better regular season team, but who's more clutch when it comes to the playoffs? And it's definitely the Philadelphia Phillies in the last couple of years. So it's like the Dodgers and Braves choke in the postseason. Philadelphia rises to the occasion with Bryce Harper and company. And that's what you need to be able to do. It's all about your legacy and what you do in the postseason, not winning 100 to 115 games during the regular and then just shitting the bed and being terrible in the postseason. So, big facts. All right, they get out of the inning unscathed. Let's go to the bottom of the first inning, leading off DH for Philadelphia, Kyle Schwarber. And they better hope that they don't pitch it to him right down the middle, because if he swings on that first pitch strike, it may be a 1-0 game. Batting second, shortstop, Trey Turner. Got to make up for that error in the top of the first to get Corbin Carroll on. And batting third, probably the most exciting player that's left out of all of the players that are left out of the Philadelphia Phillies. The Arizona Diamondbacks got Corbin Carroll, but Bryce Harper, to me, even including the Astros players with Yordan Alvarez and some of the guys that are on the Rangers, with Seager, I feel Harper is like that guy. This is like maybe his moment. They went to the World Series. They overachieved. They lost last year. And then sometimes you got to lose before you win. And if I had to put money on it, I would assume that we will be seeing the Philadelphia Phillies, the champions, in 2023. All of Bryce Harper's stock will go up. They always used to compare him to Mike Trout. And, Mike Trout's better. Mike Trout's better. Mike Trout might be a Hall of Famer, but he's never really been on a good team. And, Bryce Harper has a chance to do something that Mike Trout hasn't in his career, and that's actually win a pennant and win a World Series. So, yeah, Mike Trout might be a great regular season player. He might be the Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays of this generation. But if Bryce Harper wins 1 or 2 pennants before his career is over, he's going to be on that same level as Mike Trout, maybe even a little bit higher. Because if you're clutch in the playoffs and in the postseason, that'll raise your overall vibe and aura and your worth, not only to collectors, but for your peers and everyone that's watching. I know that I've never disliked Bryce Harper. I've always liked him in high school. I liked him when he was coming up. I know he had a lot of swagger, but you got to have that swagger. And I feel it's almost like misdirected hate. Like, I feel like people were hating on him on the Nats for like no reason. Like they were just hating on him just to hate on him. They were like, oh, he's not as good as Mike Trout. Oh, he got hurt. He's never going to be good. And then now, lo and behold, Mike Trout's getting a little bit older, and he's not really doing as much. Now Bryce Harper is starting to shine within these last 2 years. So sometimes it's not how you start a career, it's how you finish it. Just ask John Elway. 3 Super Bowl losses. He played 2 more years, and in those last 2, he got 2 championships, 2 Lombardis, and then walked off in the sunset. And I know Bryce Harper's going to try to do the same damn thing. Let's go, baby. And we got Merrill Kelly represented for the Diamondbacks. This is a good pitching matchup. Both pitchers are pretty good. Merrill Kelly might be a little bit better than Nola as far as consistency, but Philly's lineup has no holes. And when you look at this lineup, I feel with like the Diamondbacks, their lineup is pretty good, from the top for the first 4 spots, and then a little shaky from 5 through 9, which you would assume it would be. But if you're looking at the 1 through 9, through the Phillies, no weaknesses, kind of like the Rangers. And the Astros. I feel the lineups are a little bit better. And another thing in common that you have with Philadelphia, not only them, but with the Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners, take note, Dipoto, Scott Service, you spend the money, you end up getting the results. If you don't spend the money and get guys to come to your team, chances are you're going to be sitting at home on the couch when it's playoff time like the Seattle Mariners and I am right now. So, big facts. Yeah, it's pretty nice, huh? She's got a pretty cool autograph. And anytime you end up getting like a wrestling autograph, now it'll be something. There's always a rule of 3. Schwarber, little dribbler, easy out, 1 away. But maybe this will be something where you can end up doing a collection of three, where maybe you go on eBay and you find like a patch card of her for like 15 bucks. Then you add that to the collection. And then maybe go to eBay and then find one of her figures for like 20 bucks. Like one of the WWE Elite figures. It has like extra clothes or extra whatever, hands or extra belts. And then you can have the figure, then you can have the autograph, and then maybe like a piece of clothing card. That's how I usually do it. Whenever I have collectibles, especially if it ends up being something new that I get, I always try to pair it in threes. And I know Megan is kind of the same way as well. You just try to be able to find more than just one thing. And then eventually you end up starting a little bit of a collection. Not that you have to start a big Carmella collection, but if it's the first thing that you own of her, getting a couple other things will look nice. And then you can start maybe getting a few other things moving forward. But Preston's auto collection, pretty nice. And a lot of them are, very cheap. They were numbered to like 99. So obviously those are going to be a little bit cheaper, usually about 50 bucks or less. Now, if you have ones that are numbered to 5, then you're paying 100 to 500. Back. Trey Turner, gone, baby. He said, let me make up for that error in the top of the first inning. Yes, please. And you spend the money to get him from the Dodgers to the Phillies, and he might have not had the best regular season, and a lot of people are bitching and moaning. Why did we pay this guy so much money? That's exactly why you pay him the money. Right fucking there. Solo dinger, 1-0, Trey Turner. Nice job. There we go. And how many guys fuck up in the beginning of the game, get an error, and then they go ahead in that same inning say, you know what? Watch me. There's not just one superstar on this team, Bryce Harper. There's many. That was sweet. And like I said, as much as I do like cheering for the Diamondbacks and rooting for them, they're outmatched. I will never, root for the Astros. Astros and Rangers are dead even. But the Rangers and Phillies were hotter. Same thing with the Diamondbacks, but sometimes, you're hot, the other team's hot. Who's got the better pitching and the better hitting? Who's got the better lineup? And it's clear that the Phillies have the better team overall. Diamondbacks have a few studs, but they don't have as much as Philadelphia. Nice job, Trey. Yeah, Seth Rollins, you can do that too. You can get like not even a graded Seth Rollins, but if you look around, you can get a Seth Rollins at a card shop or on eBay, 40, 50 bucks, and it would be like numbered to like 99 or something like that. It doesn't have to be like numbered to 5, numbered to 10, because the lower serial number, the more money you have to pay. But if you can get a numbered to 99 Seth Rollins auto for like 40 bucks, like who wouldn't do that? You and me are huge fans of Seth. That's worth the 40 or 50 if you can have a piece of memorabilia from him. So 1-0 Phillies. Nice start. All right, Boom. Nothing from Bryce, but we'll get something with you, obviously, later in the game. He always comes up clutch, just like he did on his birthday. Alec Bohm, this postseason only batting 167, no homers, but this might be an opportunity for him. And he's kind of underrated at third base. I'm not going to say that he's better than like Eugenio Suarez or some of the top dogs, but for a guy that's at third, he actually makes more plays than you would think that he would. And he definitely comes up clutch a lot of times. So I'll give him that. 1-0 Philadelphia. Pitches outside, throw to first. Safe. That was close. There's a lot of them. You just have to go back and look to see what they did last week. You can look at the rankings and see where they're at. Like I said, with me, I'm always making moves. I never stay, with the same team all the time. Sometimes a guy will do good, and then they start to kind of fall off. Like, I had Moody and I had Maher, right? And then I dropped Moody. Megan picked up Moody. He didn't do anything again. And sometimes that can be a trend. All the way to the warning track and caught. So, at first the Niner offense was flowing, right? But they weren't getting as many touchdowns. So I was like, cool, Moody's going to get me 2 or 3 or 4 field goals, and I'll be good. 10 points or more. Then they started getting just touchdowns and no field goals. So then the points are a lot lower, like 5 points or less. That's not what you want in fantasy. So you want to try to find a guy that has an offense that's good, but not great. So that way, when they stall on the 10 or the 15 or the 20, and you can get those 3, 4, or 5 points, that's what you want. And that's the reason that I dropped Moody, because he was great for me at the beginning of the year. But I started to see some kind of like, okay, this offense is rolling a little bit too much. I don't want him anymore because it's not going to be valuable to me because he's probably going to get less points. And that's exactly what happened. So sometimes it's not just based off the ranking. You have to see the flow of the offense, and you have to watch games to realize, oh, this team's scoring too many touchdowns. They're not doing field goals. Or, oh, this team is pretty good, but they stall in the red zone. Boom, field goal, field goal, field goal. So sometimes looking for guys like that. So there's a few teams that I can name that have kickers that are like that. It's just a matter of if you are, smart enough to recognize, who to get. And also, too, if a kicker ain't working for you, or you have two of them, get rid of one, swap it out, try someone new. You don't have to stick with the same guys, because if you don't make enough moves, you're not going to win games. You have to keep adjusting every week. So, Lonely Wolf, who howls alone at the moon in the building. How are you? I missed you, man. How are you doing? And like I said, there's going to be defenses, that look good on film, but you actually have to look at the points that they're getting in fantasy as well. Because even though the Browns have one of the best defenses overall, they're not going to get you 10 points every time. There are going to be games where they play good, but they still give up points, and you're going to get like 5 to 8. And if that's good enough for you, great. But you want to make sure that you're trying to find the pieces that can get you to 10 at kicker and 10 on defense or higher. And that's a tough task. 1-0 Philadelphia with a Trey Turner error in the top of the first, where he bobbled it when Corbin Carroll hit it right to him, and he kind of bobbled it. And then, Corbin got to first. They didn't score off of it. Then he said, okay, let me make up for my idiot move. Boom, solo shot, 1-0 Phillies, and here we go. 1-2 pitch. Harper's going. Out. Got him. Bad jump for Bryce right there, but they still ended up getting the 1-0 lead. Trey Turner, man. And they have so many guys that can go yard. It's like Schwarber, yard, on first pitch, easy. Trey Turner, he's usually not the greatest in the regular season, at least so far. A lot of Phillies fans were bitching and moaning, and I just told them, listen, I watched him with the Dodgers. I've watched this guy in his whole career. It takes him a while to heat up. But what would you rather want? A guy to do really good in the regular season and choke in the playoffs when you really need him, or start slow, get hot towards the end of the regular season, and then be a monster in the postseason? And that's what you're going to get out of Trey. Same thing out of Bryce. I mean, look at that. These first three guys can go yard, and then right there you're already down like 3-0 or whatever, and then it's hard to come back. And then if you look at some of these other guys too, Bohm, Stott, Real Muto, you're not going to get something from them every time, but they're pretty clutch. And then Castellanos, you already know that he's pretty clutch. He'll come through, and it's kind of crazy that they decided to put him at the 7 hole. So that's why I feel that they're doing that to make sure. So if we get a couple guys on before him, like Scott or JT, that he can knock them in. Or, if those guys are struggling, he can start it. And then after that, Marsh and then Rojas, can take care of business. So far, so good. 1-0 Philly. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I know all the moves I'm making. I already know exactly what every single person does in the league. I spy on all you guys. I know exactly what's going on for every single team and what's on the wire. And like I said, after the first 3 weeks of the wire, there's not a whole lot there. You really have to start reading and digging deep and taking some chances, and hoping that some guys pan out. Now, will Moody end up being a good kicker, towards the mid or the back end of the regular season? Yeah, it's a possibility. But it just depends. Now with Run CMC being injured, his numbers may go back up, Moody. Because if they can't score with Run CMC and then Trent Williams is hurt and Debo's hurt, what is that going to mean? A lot of the drives may stall and get you field goals. So I know you dropped Moody. It might have been a little premature. He did have a couple of shaky games the last 2 or 3 games. It's been under 10. But there is a chance that if you grab him, right, and they may be able to get back to getting 10, 12, 14 points in fantasy because of the injuries. And normally I wouldn't say something like that because I know you don't really watch Niner games. You're a Seahawks fan. But those are the little things that you need to pay attention to. An injury here, an injury there, especially with a significant player like Debo, run CMC, and then also with Trent Williams, arguably one of the best tackles in football. If you're missing those pieces, even if it's just for a couple of weeks, what does that mean? A greater chance for Moody's numbers to go up. And also, he's not going to have 20 family members at the game in Cleveland where he probably felt a lot of pressure and then he missed those 2 field goals. So I'm giving you a little bit of advice there. I had Moody and I had Maher, but I just felt with the Rams offense, based on how the Niners were clicking, I felt that Maher would give me more points. And so far he has. So no worries, man. You're grinding, man. You're working. It's right down the middle, 4-seam fastball. Gabriel Moreno. Wow. Throw to first. Got him. Wow. Like I said just a few seconds ago, right? Alec Bohm, you don't really think that he's that good of a player. You got some other guys, Machado, Nolan Arenado, Eugenio Suarez, and a bunch of these other guys. This guy is like kind of a Eugenio Suarez, but even lower name. But plays like that open your eyes where you're like, whoa, that would have probably been a double. Or, it could have been a single, but maybe it could have been, something more. And with that diving effort right there, look at the arm strength, off one knee, off one bounce, got him. That's pretty. And I feel Bohm gives you that energy and that swagger where you're not expecting anything from him hitting or defense. But when he does it, the crowd fucking loves him. It's those underdog, underrated players that can give you that juice. And I feel it. Let's go. Next up, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Pitches inside, 2-0 count. No, don't drop Niners D. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, I could be like, yeah, do that. I'll pick them up instantly. No, don't do that. Like I said, the Niner defense is still going to be, one of the best defenses. Like some games, you're going to do good, but again, like there's going to be certain defenses that are out there that you're going to probably want to hang on to for the majority of the season. And if you get fed up and don't get a whole lot of points, with the defense, put them on the bench. It never hurts to have like the Niners or the Cowboys or, the Eagles or the Saints, or like for me, I got the Bills and the Bucks, and there's going to be games, where they get 10 points or more. But then there's also going to be games where they get 0 or 1 or 2. And that's just how fantasy is. So, I got to let me take a look to see what the ranking is on those. Let me take a quick peek. Yeah, Niners D is ranked 6th. And then let me take a look. And then you have the Ravens D, I assume, in Brandon's league. And then let's take a look there. And Ravens D currently is ranked 3rd. So, yeah, you wouldn't want to get rid of – if you have anything in the top 10, you want to hang on to those, because it's all about consistency in fantasy. Got him. Nice pitch by Nola. Yeah, so I would keep both. I'm not saying that both of them are going to stay, but they based off the personnel and who they have on their rosters, even if there's a little bit of injuries here and there, they should still both be in the top 10 all year. So, yeah, I wouldn't get rid of either one. Yeah, well, everything gets adjusted week in and week out, so you have to look it up. And depending on what a format you're using, through ESPN, NFL.com, Yahoo, but I just looked it up on through the league that we are in, and based off the rankings, and that's what they're ranked based on what was updated, maybe today after all the other games got over with. Because they, everything gets updated week in, week out based off what they did the previous, game. And then once all the games end, Monday Night Football, then everything gets refreshed. Okay, this is the new ranking based off if they did good or bad. So, 1-1 pitch. Little chopper. Bryson Stott. There we go. Easy 1, 2, 3 inning. Let's go to the bottom of the second. Great play by Bohm. He's awesome, dude. And like I said, I always like to be able to, show love because I mean, I don't watch every single Philadelphia game, but throughout the year, I usually try to peek quite a bit just to be able to see like how the team is going. And obviously I'll get feedback from Philly fans saying, Trey Turner was a mistake and we paid him too much money. But the thing is like I say, not every player you bring in to a new team is going to be able to be explosive right out of the gates. What would you rather have? An explosive player, you pay a lot of money, and he does great in the regular season and then does terrible in the postseason, or a guy that starts off slow and it doesn't look like he's going to get it going. Then eventually he does, right? And then it gets hot towards the end of the regular season and ends up being clutch in the postseason. That's what you want if you end up wanting to win a World Series. So. All right, we're going here into the bottom of the second inning. Leading off, second baseman Bryson Stott. Batting second this inning, catcher J.D. Realmuto. And batting third in the seventh hole, which is very unusual, right fielder Nick Castellanos. But they already have Schwarber, Turner, and Harper at the top, right? So it gives them a nice power at the back end of the lineup, which is actually very intelligent and smart for Philadelphia. It's like when you have all your heavy hitters in the first 5 holes, right? What happens in the 6, 7, 8, 9 hole if there's a little bit of a slump? You want to make sure you at least have one guy sprinkled in the 6, 7, or 8 that might be normally a 1 through 5 hole hitter, so that way that you're covering all your bases. And then you never know, the guys that you don't think that are gonna do something. Sometimes those are the unlikely heroes like Bohm, Scott, Realmuto, Marsh, Rojas. You never know. And with Marsh's beard like this, golly, I mean, this guy might go off tonight. He's got the best beard in sports, baby. Let's go. Oh, nice. Any cool designs on them or anything? You have any pictures of the new gear that he's got? I'd like to see. Oh, this lineup is much better. But like I said, remember, even yourself and a lot of the other Philly fans like, oh, this Trey Turner is not working. We overpaid. What did we do? And like I said, sometimes it's chemistry. Just being able to find your role and all that pressure. Because remember, when he was on the Dodgers, he was known as one of the best overall baseball players, hitting, defending, his intelligence. They made that hype video. Like, this guy is one of the best baseball players overall. Now, this year, when he came in, he wasn't playing like it. He was playing like a guy that was below average. It's like you expect the guy to be hitting 300, not 220 to 250. Sometimes it takes some time. But I think overall, a lot of guys were hitting under average this year. Hell, the Mariners were hitting 220, 230 as a team pretty much all year. So until towards the end. So popped up, went away. So, sometimes it takes a little time. But one thing I do know is that the best players will always come up in the clutch in the postseason. And you're lucky that you got this guy right here because this is the most clutch player that you got in the playoffs that's left. Yeah, you got Yordan Alvarez. Yeah, you got Seager. Yeah, you got some other guys. But not only do you have Harper, but you got Schwarber, you got Turner, and you got Castellanos. You got 4 clutch guys. Astros have about 4 or 5 clutch guys as well. But the Rangers, I told y'all, if they go up 2-0, they're going to win the series against the Astros and make it to the World Series, and that's exactly what they did. So, yeah, and like I said, I'm not biased. I kind of call it how I see it, but it's going to be Rangers and the Phillies in the World Series, and you would assume, based off the Phillies crowd, based off the Phillies going to the World Series and losing, right, that they have a little bit of an upper hand against the Rangers, even though they're just as hot as Philadelphia, maybe even hotter. They're 7-0, the Rangers, so they haven't even lost in the postseason. But, I mean, if I had to take the pitching, the hitting, the crowd, the vibe, and what happened last year, I'm going to go and give the edge to Philadelphia, and I'm going to say that they're going to be the champions of 2023. But it's not going to be easy because if the Rangers go they're going to make this tough. It's not going to be a sweep. It's going to be 6, and I hope 7 games. That way we get that extra game for that energy and that momentum and that, oh my God, what's going to happen type of thing. So, but definitely think it'll be Philadelphia in 6 or 7. But if I'm wrong, and then the Rangers end up winning the World Series, no one will be surprised. They're a very good team as well. Pitches outside, 2-0 count. You're going to have to take a look on, to see what he's been getting for points. And like I said, it'll be up to you to decide if you want to try to get someone better. I mean, I probably wouldn't roster that player, but then there's plenty of wide receivers that are going to be on the wire. It just depends on personal preference, and you have to look to see what they've done in the last couple games, if it's a good matchup, and then if someone that you want to roster on your team. So that'll be a personal choice for you, Megan. But I would assume if you drop them, there's going to be plenty of guys that are giving you similar numbers or higher numbers than him. So $5. Let's get to a hundo. 95 to go. God, you have the worst luck, Sarah. All of your players on the Colts and the Hawkeyes, they're either getting suspended or injured in your fantasy team. Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes when it rains and it pours, it's just there's nothing you can do. Like I said, you just got to be able to, look forward to, next year. That's just the honest thing that I can say. I always keep it real, with the questions and the answers, because it's like, with Mims, it's like, oh, if you drop him, are people going to be clamoring over him? No. There, maybe someone will grab, but probably not. There's going to be other people there. Yeah, exactly. So for the tight end that ended up getting injured, is he NFL or is it too early in his career? Is he how young is he? Is he like a freshman? So does he have to play a couple more years? You've had a nice string of tight ends going to the NFL, but obviously if he's injured in the season ending, then it's probably not going to be NFL for him. So. Well, Sarah is an Iowa Hawkeye fan, and obviously you haven't watched a whole lot of Gardner Minshew because if you watched him in the last game, he looked terrible. He threw 3 picks. So Minshew is a name, right? And he was better as a backup the last 2 years. This year, not so good. You know what I mean? Like he was a top 5 backup, but it's going to be a game in and game out evaluation. Some games he'll look pretty good. Other games he's going to look terrible, and that's the honest truth. Sarah will tell you, I ended up doing the reaction video. I watched the game, but again, when you go against the Jags, their defense is top 10, and they can definitely expose you. So normally, you're going to look like a top 5 backup against shitty defenses. You go against a good defense or a team in the division, you're going to get fucked up. And obviously, Colts fans are wishing that they didn't even have him. They wish that AR was out there. And if AR is out for the rest of the year, I'll tell you this right now, Colts are not making the playoffs. Neither are the Titans. It's going to come down to the Jags and the Texans. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans end up making a wild card. I think that they are a sleeper. And CJ Stroud is pretty fucking good. So don't be surprised if you end up seeing the Jags winning the division with like 9, 10, 11 wins. And maybe even the Texans getting in as a wild card with maybe 9 or 10 wins. It's very possible. So. Oh, he was a transfer from Michigan. That's tough. That's why, you can't just go based off name recognition. Oh, Gardner Minshew. You actually have to watch the games and see, okay, is this really a good piece or have they regressed? And based on what Minshew did in years past, he was much better than what we've seen this year. This year, it's very shaky and spotty. Some games, pretty good, but other games, terrible. You're almost thinking maybe we should put in the third string guy, but even the third string guy will even be worse than that. So. I mean, Sarah will let you know. Sometimes Gardner will look good, but if you end up having a good defense and you're like, oh my God, this does not look good. This does not look good, especially if you watch last game. It was bad. His interceptions were terrible. So hopefully he improves, but But like I said, if you end up having a bad year, it's okay. Sometimes if you go backwards, 1 year, you can get a higher draft pick. And think about it. If you don't make the playoffs, this is the year to not make it. I wish we wouldn't make it. I wish the Saints would win the division and Tampa Bay could be in the running for a top 10 pick. That's my honest feeling. Like this is one of the deepest drafts coming up in 2023. So if you're going to suck, this is the year to suck to end up, getting a good piece to move forward. Right. And that is something that you should have probably did 2 or 3 weeks ago. But again, I can't tell you what to do with your team. You do with what you want with your team. But again, hanging on to kickers and defense is too long. It'll cost you. Especially if there ends up being something that's actually kind of good. And I've already had some of these defenses. I already rostered the Browns. And I've already had a few of these defenses. But sometimes if they have a bye, I'll drop them. And I'll go to something else. I'll move my pieces around. So. We're in the top of the third, 1-0 Philadelphia. Longoria in the box. 0-2 pitch. Got him looking. Wow. All right, Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola pitching like Zach Wheeler out there. Okay. I see him. And obviously, Longoria has passed his prime, but if you get anything out of him or Tommy Pham, that's going to help tremendously with this lineup. And they'll play better at home. It won't surprise me if the Diamondbacks get a win or two at home. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. Geraldo Perdomo in the box. Well, I mean, for the top teams that ended up losing and they were bitching, I don't think the Orioles bitched, but maybe the Dodgers, which were frauds. That's my dad's team. I knew that they had a shitty 5 through 9 hole and injuries at the pitchers, so I knew they were fucked. But the Atlanta Braves are really, that team that they were the ones that suffered the most because the Astros were able to fight it, right? The Astros were fine. Orioles suffered, the Dodgers suffered, and the Braves suffered. But no, I don't think they're going to change the format. And then at one point, the Phillies will end up being in that position, and hopefully that they won't end up, having any issues or problems. So. But it definitely does benefit the teams that are playing. Sometimes having too much rest will really hurt you. For football, it's good because you can end up getting rest, right? And you're okay. But for like basketball, NHL, baseball, sometimes, being the best team and then having a week off compared to a team that's been playing and playing and playing, you want to be not the best team. You want to be the hottest and the healthiest. Those are the teams that end up winning the World Series, not the best record. It's hot and healthy in the postseason. So, and I don't think they're going to change the format. You just have to be able to adjust. And Atlanta had the best team all year. But again, you have to be able to be hot and healthy at the right time. And that rest definitely hurt them. Nice. But let's be honest, in the postseason, when you're watching, who has looked the best? The Rangers, the Diamondbacks, and the Phillies. So if you look the best and you're hot and healthy, you're probably going to be able to upset a Braves or a Dodgers, and that's what happened. And then obviously with the Orioles, they had a good record, but it's new to them. You can't expect a team that's brand new, like a Diamondbacks or an Orioles, to just make it all the way to the World Series and win. It just doesn't happen. You might be able to win a round, but you're probably not going to go all the way. So. Have I had any non-Bucks NFL jerseys? No, because I'm a diehard. But if I was going to end up buying, any NFL, Mitchell and Ness, Joe Montana, red or white, Mitchell and Ness, Jerry Rice, yeah, Mitchell and Ness, Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, or Dion on the Niners. Those would be the ones. Or if it ended up being like a Derek Thomas or a Ray Lewis, something like that. But no, I don't have any NFL non-Buck jerseys. Everything is Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Doug Williams, who else? Doug Martin, Josh Freeman, even some guys that, obviously didn't pan out. But no, I do not own any NFL screen print or sewn non-Buck jersey. I don't own it. But again, if I was going to buy one, it would probably, if I started it off, I probably would say Dion on the Niners would be my first. Then I would probably go Barry Sanders as two with the white. And then probably like, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and then Bo. But those would be the ones that I would, but for now, I mean, I have so many teams that I follow. So it's like, I'd rather spend money on a Mariner jersey, or a Duck jersey, or something of that nature rather than going with a player on another team. So, and there's nothing wrong with collecting jerseys of goats that aren't on your team. It's just that I have so many teams that I follow with Blazers and Bucks and Ducks and Mariners. I don't have the extra money to do that. So. Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan of O-line, special teams, and defense. And I primarily, most of my jerseys for the Bucks are defense. I don't have very many offensive jerseys. I just, I'd rather get a Devin White or a Levante David or Derek Brooks or Warren Sapp. Like, I don't have a John Lynch or a Rondé Barber or Mike Allstott, but I would rather get those before I get a guy on another team. So, and I definitely would get an O-line jersey. If you're an Eagles fan, yeah, get a Kelsey. Get a Lane Johnson, because if you don't, eventually that's going to end up being a Mitchell and Ness throwback, or you're going to have to get one on eBay and it's going to cost more money. So definitely grabbing a Lane or grabbing a Kelsey would be one of my priorities. That would be something that I would get, because with the defense, I mean, if you don't want really Fletcher Cox, I don't blame you. Big play Slay, it's like you can get them, but if it was me, like Randall Cunningham throwback, if you're going like that route. And, of course, they have some splash players like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Jalen. But, yeah, getting an offensive lineman jersey would be cool, because how many people can say, hey, I got a Lane Johnson or I got a Jason Kelsey? That will separate yourself from the rest of the Phillies and the Eagles fans, that you're going to have something that most of that fan base does not own. And that will be complemented. Like if I saw someone in the grocery store that had a Lane or that had a Kelsey, I would tap them on the shoulder. I'd be like, hey, nice jersey, All right, let me go get my Snapple here out of the freezer. Snapple time. Also holding out on one day Mitchell and Ness will sell any Eagles Foles. Well, you don't have to get a Mitchell and Ness. You can always just get, one of the sewn jerseys of him, or find the, Super Bowl patch, if you want to have that, or buy it separately and take it to a seamstress and they'll sew it on for you, you know. And like I said, you just have to be careful when you buy stuff like on eBay, because you're going to get some stuff that's going to be from China and like third party, where it looks real and it's sewn. But the main thing that you can tell between the fakes and the real, I always buy my stuff on NFL Shop or through Mitchell and Ness. But if I ever buy something from eBay, a sewn fake will look better than a screen print. But the one thing that you can tell based off being a jersey connoisseur, I know Megan is a jersey connoisseur like myself. We both own, many jerseys. But the arm patch, for the logo, like for Tampa Bay, it would have like the ship. And I can always tell with the stitching on the arm patch that if it looks kind of, fucked up, then it's a fake. Everything else is going to look the NFL logo underneath the chin. That'll be the same one. The numbers and the stitching looks very similar, right? But the one thing that you can usually tell that'll separate the real and from the fake is going to be the arm patches, for those extra logos, whatever they decide to use. And if the stitching or if it doesn't look crisp, then that is a fake. So that is the one way that you can tell a fake NFL jersey from a real one. So, but you can still end up getting It just depends if you want white, green, or black with the folds. There we go. Back, back, back. Got him, baby. Schwarber ball, and we already knew that was coming. I already knew. I mean, the guy hits on first pitch strikes really, really well, and he also works the count, and he knows when that fastball or that cutter is coming, and he has money, money, money. Bye-bye. Back, back, back. Just barely over the wall. Gone, baby, in the front row. There's no doubt that they're winning. Like I said, I would assume that the Phillies will be the favorite team, but the Rangers are hot. And especially if the Rangers end up sweeping the Astros, some people on the betting line will be picking the Rangers just because either they're hating on Philadelphia or they just want someone other than Philadelphia to win. But those two teams are going to be really evenly matched, just like if the Astros were going to go up 2-0, they would be evenly matched against Philly. It's not going to be easy. And we could end up getting a champion, from the Texas Rangers or the Philadelphia Phillies. But I think the edge will go to Philadelphia because they went last year. They improved their team this year, and they felt the pain of what it was like to lose. And sometimes you got to lose before you win. You got to crawl before you walk. So I'm still going to be going with Philadelphia. Nice Schwarber bomb there in the front row. Next up, Trey Turner, who went for a solo shot in the first inning. Let's go, baby. 2-0 Philadelphia. Yep. Well, he is an Eagles fan, so it would make sense, right? If they have the money, and you might be able to get him a little bit cheaper because he's kind of injury prone, and he's not the same player that he was. But if you put him on a team like Philadelphia, you know that you're going to get the best out of him. You go to a team like that, then you're going to probably get a rebirth in Trout's career. Just getting out of there, getting out of the Angels organization. Same thing with Ohtani. But again, he won't be able to pitch with that UCL. But you'll get the bat out of him. And then the following year, hopefully with those setbacks, then he'll be able to pitch and he'll be able to hit. Yeah, we're not stupid on this channel. We're very smart here. We may not be Philadelphia Philly fans, or we might not be Angel fans or Trout fans, but we read a lot. We watch a lot of film. I've seen Trout at games, so we know. We ain't dumb here. We smart here. Other channels are, suspect, but not us. All right, defend the deep. It's going to start in about an hour. I'll be watching, and if you want to hop in about an hour, I'll have it on at the same time. Birdman in the building. What's good? 2-0 Phillies. Tough loss, but again, the elite teams lose 3 to 4 games in a season. So, and you lost to a defense that was top 10, just like the Niners did with the Browns. No big deal. Now it's a 3-way tie for the best team in the NFL with the Lions. The Eagles have injuries. The Niners have injuries. Trajectory is kind of going south, where the Lions is going up. But again, it's a long season. Montgomery got hurt for the Lions as well. So all the top teams got banged up with some significant injuries. But hopefully the health, will be able to, come sooner than later. The Eagles have a tough schedule. It's not going to be easy. The Eagles could drop a few more games. If you look at the next 8 games the Eagles play, it's not easy. You don't have a last place schedule anymore. You have a first place schedule, and it looks brutal. So, you're not going to go out unscathed, out of the schedule. In the next 8 games, there is a legitimate shot where you might drop a couple. All the way back to the wall. Wow. Bryce Harper trying to go yard. 2-0 Phillies. Yeah, but I still think that there's a very good shot, that we can see the Niners or the Eagles, in the NFC Championship game. But history tells us if you go to the Super Bowl, right, you're not going back the next year. That's what just statistically, analytically speaking. So that would mean that we wouldn't see the Chiefs and we wouldn't see the Eagles. And then that would be like, okay, then who are we going to see? Then we were like, oh, maybe Buffalo. But they don't look very good. Their injuries on the defensive side. The Chiefs, They don't look very good with the wide receiving core of Mahomes and that defense. So, could it be a surprise team? Maybe like the Miami Dolphins that look actually maybe like the best team in the AFC today. And then also a sleeper team like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not saying that they're going to make it to the AFC Championship game or make it to the Super Bowl, but I could see the Jags upsetting the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, or one of those teams, Ravens. Like the Jags to me have really good balance, and they have the best balance out of any team in the AFC. Yeah, they may not have all the pieces yet, but don't be surprised if the Jags end up beating maybe some of these popular teams. Because to me, they're the closest thing to the Eagles, the Niners, and the Lions that we have in the NFC as far as O line, D line, offense, defense, and having that balance. So we'll see. We'll see how everything kind of plays out. But we definitely think that the Eagles and the Niners and the Lions, those are the three best teams in the NFC, arguably in the NFL. And on the AFC side, you got the Chiefs and the Bills. But honestly, right now, I like Miami and Jacksonville better than Buffalo and Kansas City. Just not being biased, just looking at what I'm watching and what I'm seeing. So yeah, but he's old as shit. I mean, I had him on my team. Don't expect a whole lot. Those hamstrings are going to be like spaghetti noodles. So if you get anything out of them, that'll be a plus. If you get anything, but don't expect, big numbers like he did back in the day. Like, he's more going to be like a decoy out there, just like filling a hole temporarily. So I would know. I mean, like I said, I followed his whole career. I had him on the Bucks, and a lot of times it's like hype, based off name recognition. But yeah, you're going to have Jalen, and you're going to have a good quarterback. But still, with that being said, he's not the player that he was. So it's like you're pretty much just getting him as insurance, and then maybe as a decoy. So that way we can get more to Devontae Smith, more to Goddard, more to AJ Brown. Appreciate you, brother. $5 holla. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Birdman with a fiver. Appreciate you, bro. Keep doing your thing on TikTok and Instagram. If you want to keep doing those videos there and you're getting good traction, keep doing it. Bang bang. $5 holla. Not everyone is built, to do live play-by-play, and reactions. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's going to be like the hardest thing to do out of all things. So if you don't read and you don't watch film and you don't cover all the teams, and if you feel kind of uncomfortable talking that much, it's going to be tough to do. But if you feel like you can make better content by just doing little shorts, little TikTok videos, doing little things like that for content, and you're going to get better numbers that way. Do you? If that's going to work for you, do that. Not everyone is built to do the live play-by-play reactions. It's like, if you're going to be at the bar and you're going to be watching it with the family and then all the other people, keep doing what you're doing. Little chopper up for a nice little base hit by Marte. All right, Cattell, I see you. Appreciate you. What do you want to see? You got something specific? You want a particular Eagle player? You want some Jalen? Let me know what you want, if you want a photo or not, or a couple, and I can shoot you a couple photos on the screen for you. Any kind of Eagle representation. You want some Kelly Greens? You're going to be wearing these coming up this weekend. I can hook you up with something like that. Just let me know. Appreciate you. Pitches outside, 1-0 count. But I think I got a couple things here. Let's see what I got. Just throw up a Jalen for good measure. There he is. Remember Birdman when he first came in and you didn't believe in him? And I told you that he was going to be the guy, that he's got the leadership, and you guys lost to the Buccaneers in the playoffs. You guys weren't going to win that game no matter what, not with that Brady team, that we were going to end up going all the way, right? I told y'all, some people didn't want to believe me, but again, I feel like I'm a very good evaluator of talent early on. So even though, a player might look a little shaky at times, it was never Jalen, ever. It was never him. It was the O-line, and it was getting more weapons. You just can't act like Devontae Smith could be the number one. He had to be the number two. And then once you got A.J. Brown, everything got fixed. You needed to get that true number one receiver, and then everything started to fall in place with the O-line and the defense and the defensive players. If you overachieve and the player looks young, and you're playing a really good team like the Bucs that we were going to win the Super Bowl that year and you lose, that doesn't mean that Jalen is a bust or he's not good enough. You just have to be able to look to see what was going to be the key for you to be able to be good. And like I said, I'm not going to be right, about everything. But I'll tell you what, no one reads more or watches more film than me, and I don't get wrong answers that often. I usually am pretty spot on. I mean, I usually have one or two ESP moments on every fucking stream I do on top of that. So, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. You and a lot of Eagle fans were hating, thinking, we need to get somebody better. No, you don't. And now you see that he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. You just had to be patient, and a lot of Eagle fans wanted results immediately. But I told y'all, you got to crawl before you walk. And just because you lose the Bucs in the playoffs doesn't mean that he's not good enough to be the leader of the team. Sometimes you got to look at the intangibles, But again, some people can, read players and development and talent better than others. But I already knew. As soon as I saw him in college, as soon as I saw him, get benched for Tua and then go to Oklahoma, I knew with the type of person that he was and his dad, sometimes you got to read a little bit more on your players. And once you start reading more about the family man and his dad and obviously everything that he went through, and then just the way he carries himself and the relationship that he has with the players, sometimes the writing is on the wall and you just have to be able to see it or not. Got him at second. All right, let me see if I can get some Kelly Greens up here. But it's all good. You weren't the only Eagle fan that was doubting Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, especially with NFL players in like college football, I feel like I'm like going to be 95%. If not, like, there's not going to be too many people that I'm going to be like, this guy's going to be good, and then they end up being a bust. Like I said, especially with the amount of film and reading, and I dig deep into their life. Like I really got to see, okay, is this someone that I think that could really be the man? And I knew it all along. And like I said, the number one thing was getting him a number one receiver. Fuck, if you don't got a number one receiver and you got this little guy, Devontae Smith, who's more of a wide receiver 2, and you're forcing him to be the wide receiver 1, and he just won the Heisman, that's too much pressure. You're asking for this little, short receiver to be, like a Megatron. It was way too much pressure for him, and he didn't play well. And then you ended up getting A.J. Brown in the trade, right? Then all the pressure went away, and then you could let him be the wide receiver 2 that he was born to be, and then everything flowed. Goddard got his, running backs got theirs, A.J. Brown was the number 1, Devontae Smith was the number 2, and then everything fell into place. Now you just got to be able to have that defense step up, so that way you get at least a sack and a pick, so that way you don't make me look stupid when I do predictions. So, that was the first Super Bowl I got wrong in 20 years. I picked your Eagles because I thought the defense was they were going to do like what the Bucs did and what the Rams did, but you guys didn't get any sacks or picks, and if that happens against Mahomes, you're going to lose 100% of the time. So hopefully you guys will get back here in the next 3 years. 1-2 pitch on the quarter. Got him. Man, Nola's pitching well. 5 Ks for Nola, looking like he's Zach Wheeler out there. Elliott in the building. What's good? D-backs have any chance? No, they're not. No, they do not. This one, it's going to be Phillies and the Rangers in the World Series, and I would give the edge to the Phillies, but I would not be shocked if the Rangers ended up winning. But I think the Phillies have a better squad. But again, the Rangers are super hot. I mean, they're 7-0. They haven't even lost. So, I mean, if you can go into Houston and that was the favored matchup, Phillies and Houston, and you can go in their house and they can have bases loaded, no outs, and you can find a way to get out of the game, and you end up winning both games at Houston. You're the real deal. So we knew when they played the Mariners, I was like, this team looks like they might be able to do it, but you still got to give Houston the respect, as the champion. But the Rangers played some good ball, and they still look like they might be the ones. Yeah, but they also have a first place schedule, Terry. When you have a last place schedule or a third place schedule, you're playing shitty quarterbacks and shitty teams. Once you end up going to the Super Bowl, regardless if you win or lose, you got a first place schedule. It's much harder. So, yeah, he hasn't played as good as he did last year, right? He's made mistakes, but the competition has been a little bit better too. Look at the next 8 games that the Eagles play. It's brutal. Well, Moreno with a little chopper blooper to left field. Uh-oh. All right, Moreno, I see you. Catcher getting a clutch hit. Runners at first and second. Phillies 2. Diamondbacks 0. Next up, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Matt in the building. What's good? And you can't blame everything on Jalen. Like I said, sometimes it's the offensive line. Sometimes it's Jalen. Sometimes it's going to be the receivers, not catching the football, maybe not running the right route or a tipped interception. But like I said, it's tough to be consistent in the NFL. That's why we love it so much. Anybody can beat anyone on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. There we go. Good defense there by the Phillies. And honestly, week 6, this past week, was the weirdest week in the NFL, probably in the last 2 years. I mean, how often do we see powerhouse teams like the Niners and the Eagles both lose to P.J. Walker and Zach Wilson with teams that have top 10 defenses? Browns against the Niners, Jets against the Eagles. But I mean, if this is a normal week, both of those teams win that game pretty easily. The Niners lost 2 missed field goals because of Moody. His family was there, extra pressure. He had like 20 family members there. That was probably a part of it. But also Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Debo got hurt. Trent Williams got hurt. You can't predict that. If those guys don't get hurt, you think the Browns still fucking win? Fuck no. And then with the Jets and the Eagles, the Jets played some good football, but again, the Eagles have quite a few injuries as well. It's either and you read and you look at the injury report, or you just act like every single game, everyone's healthy, and then we just point the blame at Jalen because they're losing. We have to be smarter than that. We have to dig a little bit deeper. So, big facts. How's everybody doing? What's good? Elliot in the building. What's good? Matt in the building. What's good? And then we got the Kraken coming up in 45 minutes. So if someone can remind me, I think it's at 7. Take a quick peek again. I want to watch. They're going against the Avalanche. They're 0-2-1. They're fucking shitty this year, but I still want to be able to watch. So they're playing at 7 on ESPN. So please remind me at 7 o'clock, please, somebody, that the Kraken is on, so that way I can flip it on here. And doll hairs. Let's get to a hundo. That would be weird. The Kelly Green's coming up, which would be cool. And remember, it's a team game. It's not going to be easy, even with the tush push and all. Oh, nice. There we go. Taco sounds great. Yeah, I'm getting closer and closer on Dexter. I got a couple more seasons to go. All right, we're in the bottom of the fourth, 2-0 Phillies. 14 homers in the last 4 games, most in a 4-game span ever. So you can already tell if it's Schwarber, he can hit one. Turner hit one in the first, Schwarber hit one in the third, and then you got this guy named Bryce. You might have heard of him. He always is a threat to go yard. And on top of that, you also have Nick Castellanos. So you got 4 guys that legitimately could go yard at any given point in the game. That's what kind of separates them from the Rangers, in my opinion, and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks have more like singles hitters. Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. Their home run guy is like Christian Walker. So you got one guy that's kind of like the home run guy, and all the rest are like Corbin Carroll can do it, but he's more of like a singles doubles guy, but can hit the occasional 20 to 35 home runs, kind of like a Julio. You're not going to get it every game, but he is clutch. But they just need a couple. They need like 2 Corbin Carrolls, 2 Ketel Martes. Walker needs 2 of them, and then you have Pham and Longoria, and like to kind of help out, but they're just a little outmatched. It's like it's a great story and whatnot, but when you run into a team that's just as hot and healthy as you, and they have better players, sometimes your season ends. That's just how it goes. So. Yeah, Nola is actually pitching well, like Zach Wheeler, and Nola is usually like kind of their bugaboo. Where in years past, it's like you couldn't really count on him. You just hoped he could get to 6 innings, and then you could like win the game. But now it feels like he's more on the Wheeler end, where they're feeding off of each other, and Wheeler's like, just pitch with confidence. Don't worry about last year. There we go, 1 away. Yeah, I was going to either do the Kraken game or this, but the Kraken game would have been at 7. So that would have been a late one. Then that would have been over at like 10, which I didn't mind. But when we have a game that actually is, the final 4 teams are playing, a regular season game of the Kraken where we're going to have a bunch to do, or, one of the games that's actually a piece of history, that we should be watching. So I got to be able to sprinkle in a little bit of everything. Pitch was in the zone, call the ball. 1-0 count, 2-0 Phillies. Philadelphia up 1-0 in the series, 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. 1-0 pitch from Kelly. Pitch. I don't know. I just think sometimes with NFL, it's like you can either see the talent and you can see the future, or you can't. And it just depends on how much you know about football and how things work. Realizing it's not just going to be the quarterback. It's going to be the O-line. It's going to be the head coach. It's going to be the OC. It's going to be the defense. There's like many factors that go into play. You just can't have a guy and be like, yep, he's going to be able to do it all on his own. As great as Mahomes and Josh Allen and Herbert and Burrow, it shows you and Jalen Hurts, just because those guys are great, they can't win a game on their own. And it's just not going to happen. The run game gets stalled, or the O-line starts, being shitty, you're not going to have time to throw. You're going to get sacked. Your running game is going to be depleted. It's a team game. Bottom of the fourth, 2-2 pitch. Pitch is outside. 3-2 count to JT Realmuto. I had to put on the Mariner gear with the Griffey, the bandana, even the chain. Someone's got to be able to wear the gear, even though we're on the couch. Got him! JT strikes out. End of the fourth inning, 2-0 Phillies. Let me know what you guys want to do for photos. If there's anything that you guys want to see between the commercials, I know. I miss the Mariners too. It's just, especially when we dedicate our lives to watching like so many games. I can't even tell you how many streams I did, but it felt like I did 80 to 100. Almost half of the games or more than half. That's a lot of games. Especially when there's nothing really else going on besides like NASCAR. So it's like you have to grind out those baseball streams and Sometimes baseball and basketball and NASCAR aren't going to be for everyone, but I mean, I have to grind. What am I supposed to do? Just sit there and do nothing? Like I got to keep it moving. So. Trying to see if there's anything else worth watching on the NBA side. .54 Thunder on the Bucks. Is Dame playing? Lillard is playing. 0 for 7, 0 points. Damn, Dame. That's not good. He probably played, I don't know if he played limited minutes or whatnot, but that is not good. It's like the first time. Now he just made a hoop because I said that. He's 1 for 8. All right, I'm going to turn that on. Let me see. Let me go see some Dame, Dalla, and Giannis. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Against Oklahoma City. There we go. I watched a really cool show on History Channel this morning about the biggest heists in America, like bank robbery type stuff. Oh my God, it was awesome. Like they did a Laguna Niguel, like in California, when Nixon was president, and they had these like mafia guys that were like hired that lived in Ohio and then flew on a plane, and then they ended up trying to get like one of like Jimmy Hoffa was trying to get pardoned, and so he's like, all right, we're gonna, we need you to back us, with your money or whatever. So then he ended up getting a pardon. And then he gave Nixon like $3 million and said, I want you to be able to help us with the campaign stuff. Then once he got out and got the pardon, he wanted his money back that he gave, the $3 million. And then he hired these guys to try to get into this bank in California to try to get the money back. And they ended up stealing, I think, like 50 to 60 million back in the 60s. Imagine how much money that is now. Like, that was a lot back then, and it kind of did a full breakdown of everything. It was very cool. Yeah, I think it had like Pierce Brosnan from like the 007 was hosting. Usually on Discovery and History, when they have specials on shows, they usually will have like some kind of famous person, Lawrence Fishburne or, whoever it may be. And I try to watch everything on Discovery, History, and Nat Geo or on Vice. And usually if you pay attention, it's going to be, sometimes like that, or like some unsolved mystery type stuff, not the Unsolved Mystery show, but sometimes like the biggest mysteries or, if it's real or if it's fake, and different shows that they have on there. But I always get interested when I see the crime type stuff on there for sure. All right, I got the Bucks and the Thunder on, so I can at least keep an eye on Dane for a second. Oh, the high stuff is really good. Yeah, so like if you look on it on History, they might have it on there, and it's just like the biggest heist. And it's hosted, I think, by Pierce Brosnan or whatever. And it's just like on History Channel, and they did like a run of like, the different heists. And the next one after that I watched, because I was already hooked. Me and Paisley were just like, eyes big and just like watching. And then the next one was like jewelry and like diamonds and stones. And it was like in New York, and they were on display like in the 60s. And then they had this guy that was like a pro surfer in California, and he turned into like a thief or whatever, and had his boys and his crew, and then they went to try to steal these like jewels, but they weren't like small. You're talking about like, when you talk about women, oh, I got a carat, or I got 2 carats with like a diamond. Like these things were like 150 carats, or like insane, like stuff that's like priceless, like these priceless gems and stones and whatnot. So I don't know, pretty cool. Especially when they talk about the dollar amount and how much the stuff is, and then the security. How they had to be able to get past the different security tactics that were trying to keep the robbers out. Pretty cool. But that one robbery one in that bank, that one was like the biggest, one of the biggest to this day. But back then it was the biggest they've ever seen back in the 60s and 70s. So pretty cool technology and things that they used, to try to get their crew. Like a real life Ocean's 11, except with less people. 3-2 pitch. A little routine ground ball, the first, one away. Nola's just dialed in. Yeah, I mean, I think the 80s and 90s NBA was much better, but I'll tell you what, with Dame going to the Bucks with Giannis and with the Blazers being young and fun to watch, this is the first year I'm excited in like 15 years. Scoot Henderson is nice. He's a great Dame replacement. He'll be one of the better NBA players sooner than later. You know, Shaden Sharp has got leaps like Vince Carter. We got DeAndre Ayton from the Suns. So it's like we actually, and we still have Anthony Simons. So it's like we have one of the most exciting, young, fun teams to watch in the NBA. I think a lot of people will agree with that once they watch the Blazers this year. Will we make the playoffs? Maybe, maybe not. But even if we don't, we'll be close to like a 6, 7, 8, 9 seed. You know, it's like the top 8 seeds make the playoffs. So it'll be somewhere between probably 5 through 10. And hopefully we at least get the 8 seed, I'm hoping. All the way back to the wall. Wow, 2 away. Castellanos. Good defense there. Yeah, it all depends if you have a team too, and you live in Hawaii, so there's no team there. So it's kind of hard to have a love for stuff unless you just watch Hawaii athletics. But that can only probably take you so far. You know, especially if you're a sport fan, you got to follow at least the NFL if you're not doing NHL, MLB, or NBA for your sanity. Something besides Oregon and maybe Hawaii football you got to follow. Pitch right there on the corner. 0-1 count. Now, I figured we'd have more people. I mean, I ended up doing a poll between this and the Kraken game, and you know, it's like why even vote on the poll if you won't show up? Like, what's the whole point of doing the poll to the subscribers if you say if I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that? You know, am I going to do the NLCS game too or do the Kraken? And then you vote and then you just don't show up. Like, what's the point of even subbing to the channel if you're going to participate in something like that and not even show up? You know what I mean? I don't know. People are weird, I guess. It's like, don't even respond to the post if you're not going to show up, or you know what I mean? Because then you're swaying, you know, what I would have done. Because, like I said, I could have easily done the Kraken game. I'll enjoy doing the Kraken more than I'll do sometimes baseball. You know, even if it's a meaningless regular season game. But I do enjoy postseason because I like to be able to keep up on everything sports, so I can help people out and win money, parlays, and just you know, kind of let people know where you know shit stands in sports. So nice. Yeah, but you already got Padres, so that's a big part of your life now, and you got Saints. So now when the Saints is done, you know, you got the Padres, so at least you got those main two things that you really love and appreciate, you know. It makes it a lot easier, you know, throughout the year when you have something to keep you going, something to wake up and look forward to. You know, obviously, me spending time with Paisley, I've never been happier. Of course, it would be nice if I could actually find a girlfriend that, you know, could appreciate my hard work and my dream instead of like using it against me, you know, and actually being proud of like what I'm doing instead of being a hater, or actually appreciating like you know my pup that saved my life. You know, it's like you know it's either you know you're selfish or you can understand, you know, and but it's like Paisley's always going to be the Paisley pup, and you know my dream is going to be big. But I will always make time, you know, for people. It's not like I'm like, oh, I have to record every day. I'll take days off. If you got a day off, I'll take a day off and we'll hang out together. But sometimes that's not good enough for people, I guess, you know. But I'll tell you what, my overall like mental health, like anxiety and depression, has gone away. You know, like I said, I used to get it from the ex girlfriend, you know, with Megan and whatnot back when I was with her for like 8 years, and so you know, she was even one of the you know people that directly gave me depression at one point. You know, and you know, it's tough. You know, sometimes you know you're in a situation and it ends up being more of like roommates and you're like living, but you got to be able to get out. You know, it's always better to be by yourself and be lonely and to be with someone and be miserable. And even though sometimes you think the opposite, you're like, well, I'm lonely, but maybe it would be better if I actually had a boyfriend or girlfriend. But then once you end up finding like the wrong one, or if it ends up going south, then you're like, shit, like this is like the bonding time together is cool, but if a lot of times it's more bad than good, then it doesn't weigh out. It's just like you're just doing it because you're lonely. You got to be able to have some, like pride for yourself to be able to like try to move on, and it's difficult. Like I said, I've had two really, really long ones. I had one for 6, 7 years, another one for like 8 years. But it was only good for like the first couple, like maybe first 6 months to a year, maybe a year to 2 years, and then after that, you know, it was just more like a roommate situation, or like you're not really like love. It's like you're having to fucking pay bills and live, so you don't really have a choice because either one of us couldn't really do it by ourselves. So it's like you're almost stuck at a certain point. So, but I'm happy. So it's good, to be able to have things. Whether it's a cat or a dog, or if you got good friends in your life. Uh-oh. This is from Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp. So we know Stephen A. doesn't know anything about sports. So I see this clutch points that you got. You know, I mean, Stephen A. is the type of guy to watch like this channel, or have his people watch the channel, and then do a poll for whoever's good in sports. Because obviously he doesn't pay enough attention to be able to have an educated opinion on things. So it's like you actually have to watch games and watch film to actually have a good opinion of things. Yes, that's a good fact. Did that just come up on the screen, or did you? How did you come up with that one? That one just pop up on the screen, or you saw it on a graphic or on a post? A lot of times we can see stuff like that on Instagram or Twitter X, and you're like, oh shit. You can like actually get pretty smart. I mean, you have to be able to find out the reliable sources, compared to the guys that do the rumors. Because a lot of the guys that do like the rumor shit for like wrestling and sports, a lot of times they're wrong. They're just reaching, trying to get that, like and that retweet and that heart early, or that thumbs up early before it gets found out that maybe it wasn't true. So that's an awesome stat. 1-2 pitch, pop foul. He said, "That's mine. That's an Elliott. You just did a double E. See, there you go. See, let's see how much smarter you've gotten by just following baseball. Like I guarantee, with your fantasy baseball and you coming here, and then also just you being who you are, you're probably the smartest one in your group on baseball, even compared to people that have been watching baseball for years. Even though you only had like you and one other friend, and a lot of the other friends didn't really care for it. But once you guys went on that trip together, I imagine all of you have a little bit more interest. Maybe not as much as you, but I imagine everyone's got a little bit more interest than they did, and then it may have sparked a couple of y'all to actually get interested, or to follow a team a little bit more heavily, or players, or do fantasy baseball. And that's good, man. It's always good when we can vibe with people that actually know baseball. I mean, football is one thing, but if you're doing, NBA, NHL, MLB, or NASCAR, that takes a little bit more effort. I mean, watching college football and NFL is fucking easy. Like wrestling, it's easy. But the other things, it takes more dedication. AI and white chocolate. And then I did, like I know you guys read too. You saw that Shaq is the new top dog at Reebok. Allen Iverson is underneath, and he's running the show too. And then they just signed Angel Reese is their new first athlete with NIL. So I imagine that they'll be building a nice little squad, and maybe we'll end up having a shoe like the Answer, because that was the best shoe Reebok ever had. It was better than the Shaqs. Like Shaq, with the Shaq, pump, that was like iconic with the Reebok pump. But I feel like the AIs, those were like trendy. Like you could still wear them to this day and they're fire. Like I feel those were the only Reebok shoes that could compete with Adidas or with Nike as far as like an athlete that had a shoe. And who didn't like AI? AI was one of my favorites. I remember when I was in seventh grade, I got his rookie red jersey, champion, and I would wear it to night court, like where we would go at nighttime and play basketball with a bunch of people around the neighborhood, around the general area and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't like AI? Everyone. AI all day. Okay, so he was one that was a baseball fan from when he was a little kid. So that he's got a few years on you. But second, that's good. Out of a group of like 5 or 6 people, and plus, you're probably getting close though, even though he's got the more old history stuff. But if you're talking Padres or good players that are in the league, like you're pretty well rounded. You keep up with what's going on. It's good to be well rounded, to have that knowledge. And it also shows you how hard it is to be knowledgeable in many, many things. Like, like you just like can picture how much, film and reading I'm doing to be able to like be like not biased and to know everything on every fucking team. Like that's a lot, and to go in that team's history and know the team's old players and that history. NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, MLB, NASCAR. I mean, it's I don't think there's anybody really out there on the YouTube or Twitch level or even on fucking TV or podcast that I think that can like compete. It's like it's one thing if you have a specialty and you do your own team. Like there's a lot of people that do that on like YouTube. It's like, oh, I'm a streamer of this team, Seahawks. But like, what's your knowledge, about the other teams in the division or the rest of the teams that are out there? There's going to be a difference. And also knowing history and the O lines and then the coaches and the coordinators. Like you can really tell someone's football knowledge when it's more than just, oh, this is the quarterback, oh, this is the running back. Well, no shit, but like you go deeper if you know O line, like defense, like coaches, coordinators, then you like start going into that elite category. So that's awesome that you're second most knowledgeable. If I can ever get my donos up, I'm gonna get you a jersey. Like I said, I feel that you're deserving of one. You're my, youngest mod. I got Matt that Oregon chain, and I like to be able to take care of you guys that are loyal. You know what I mean? And it's important, especially when we blow up. The people that are going to be the most loyal to me are going to be the ones that get rewarded the heaviest. And you already seen like what I've been able to do, when things are good. People are getting like Mitchell and Ness jerseys, or they're getting T-shirts. You're getting good stuff. You're not getting some bullshit. You're getting shit from NFL.com, or you're getting something from Mitchell and Ness. You're getting something that I would buy for myself. So, but I think getting you a Padres jersey, I can always get you a Saints jersey, but I think if I can get you a Padre jersey, that would be something that would make me feel good, because then I know you would rock it, you would wear it, you'd show it off in front of your friends, and you already got a Saint jersey, but I got to upgrade your Saint jersey also. At some point, I got to be able to hook you up with a nice, crispy, sewn Saint jersey, and then Padre jersey is first, though. And it's either it could be like a current player or maybe a throwback. You gotta be repping properly. He's the one that set up the baseball trips. Good for him. You owe him a lot. And what did I tell you? I read people really, really well. My ESP is good. People even still want to question me and argue. And like I said, I have nothing to gain when I say opinions. It's like I say good shit about my team. I say bad shit about my team. But I never give my team like the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they're the Mariners, so I'm going to give them a free pass. Fuck that. If they're doing shitty, I'm going to say it. But a lot of times it's like, I'm just calling it how I see it. And I told you, not even knowing anybody besides you or Mick. It's not like I've ever, talked to Mick face to face or any of your friends or hung out with you. But I knew as soon as you went that it would change you for the rest of your life in a better way. And because I know with me, when I went, it changed my life. And I already know how much of a fan you are of the Saints in the NFL. but I knew it was just going to be something that, that you could do as a tradition, and keep it something that you guys can do for years and years and years. So even with those like 5, 6 people, 7 people, you might not be able to get everyone to go, but it's going to be, hey, let's go to a baseball game. Regardless if people are married or have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or busy or whatever, you're like, oh, we're going to go to this baseball game. Every one of y'all, including you, can make time, to go to a Cardinal game and see Padres or whatever, or whoever's playing. Or if you guys end up making a trip to, the Cubs game or something of that nature. So. Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome. I love video games. It's crazy. I was gonna dig into my garage and try to find like I got like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, like PlayStation 3. I gave away my PlayStation 4, to my old boss, when he got COVID and he missed a bunch of time. And I wanted to be a good person. Now, do I still wish I had my PS4? Yeah. Because there'd definitely be some games I would play on there because I don't have a PS5 or Xbox, the new one. But I was thinking if I could find my PS2, and then that's the one that I like the most. Besides, like I have 64. The one system I want to buy is a Dreamcast. Like if I can get money down the road, a Dreamcast would be like my money system because I think that and the 64 and the PS2 are like the most underrated. And I have a big booklet back when I was young, making really good money, where I have like 50 DVDs and one of those Case Logic. Those were 20 a pop, so that's like $1,000. And then I have 20 games at 50 a pop. So like this booklet is like $2,000. And I remember like these guys tried to steal it from me and I got it back. But I got a like ATV game, I got NHL, college football, 2K, Resident Evil. I got Code Veronica. I mean, I got a little bit of everything, in that. And so it's just good replay value. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City is like probably my favorite game. So it's like whenever I just want to like let off some steam and just like cruise around, and I like the soundtrack in it because it reminds you of Dexter and South Beach, and just the way they do the crimes and the missions in there, or you just want to drive around in a motorcycle or a car. I think it's like really relaxing. It's like one of those things like San Andreas is a badass one too for California, but there's nothing that will ever be better than Vice City and that soundtrack and on that PS2, man. Very underrated. I might have to do that tomorrow. 2-0 Phillies. Tommy Pham, 0-2 count. Nola pitching great. You have a jersey curse. Got Frank Gore, got injured. Michael Thomas, yeah, because you're not getting the right people. DeRozan, and then traded. Yeah, because you have to be able to, we have to figure something out. It's got to be baseball or it's got to be, something different, Like if you wanted an Olave, that would be a good one. Olave would be a good one for the Saints. And then obviously for the Padres, Jurickson, throw it far, Profar, you Darvish, because I know you, and then obviously it could end up being one of the superstars, like a Manny Machado or a Tatis, Wouldn't really worry about Juan Soto because who knows if he'll be on your team, but with Machado and Tatis, they'll probably be there for the rest of their careers, or you would think. So, see, I listen and I pay attention. PS2 is goaded. Plus, when you have 20 games, it's like, dude, even if you play a game and you're like, oh, this sucks. Oh, then you got 19 more to go through. It's like, you don't even give a fuck, Like, play each game a little bit. Oh, man, GT6 is going to shut the world down. Are you kidding me? GT6 is shutting the world down, just like when Stranger Things comes out. The whole world is going to shut down. Like literally, like I will have to get a next gen system just for that. Like I've been holding off, but I've been waiting for something like college football to come back, which it is, right? That would make me get the system, or Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that, and then yeah. But if I wasn't doing this, I probably would be doing gaming. That would be one of the things I'd be doing, or either making that or making beats, or doing the counselor thing, or therapist or big brother, mentor type of thing, teacher. Plus, my dad was a teacher for like 40 years, so that's where I get some of that from. I get the discipline and the perfectionist from my mom. On like the Asian side, the Japanese side, and then my dad. Obviously with the being a teacher and doing the English and the humanities, kind of soft spoken, very intelligent person. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is high. 1-2 count. Yeah. See, we got a lot of similarities, Elliot. But see, like if I didn't pay attention to people or if I didn't care, obviously I know Jurix and Profar, you Darvish would be like, ooh. It's just about paying attention, and like certain people pay attention to people, other people don't. It's like that's the difference because it's more than just being like fans, it ends up turning into friends. And then for some of us, it's like family, especially if we talk on socials, it's like, I'm not going to do that with every fucking person. So there's going to be a very limited group on who I actually talk to. All right, Kraken starting in 14 minutes. 2-0 Phillies. 1-2 pitch, pop foul. O-Dog University. And it was cool, dude, because like when I ended up transferring, when I was doing shitty in school and I was like gambling, winning all kinds of money with no job, I had some questionable friends and we were doing questionable things and skipping and playing basketball, going to the mall, whatever, and then I ended up going to Canby. My dad was a teacher there and he was the most popular teacher, room number 420. So it got stolen every year. All the cheerleaders and all the people, like in his room, you would walk in. It was room number 420. He's like a hippie, chill, laid back dude. Had like in living color posters of like Homie the Clown and Jim Carrey, as well as like Grateful Dead. Just kind of a chill, laid back vibe. And then on his board, since he did yearbook and like photography on top of doing like, the English and the humanities, he did like double duty. Like he had every photo of every pretty girl from like the first time that he started all the way. So this wall had like the most beautiful people on planet Earth from that school in like a 30, 40-year period. And the only guy that was on the board was me. So it was girls, 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 and then me, like fishing, me playing Pop Warner football, me, or whatever. So everyone was like, thought I was adopted. They were like, who is this? Who is this? He's like, oh, it's my son. Because my dad looks like Santa. He's like 6 foot, kind of more stocky, beard, kind of has a Santa Claus vibe and kind of, wise man like Yoda, soft spoken, So then when I ended up transferring to the school, everyone knew who I was. The popular people, the nerds, the car people that did like the Acuras and the Hondas, the sport people, the readers. And I like a lot of stuff, So it's like, I'm not just going to hang out with the stoners or like the jocks, or the car guys. Like I had a lot of interests. I drove a lowered Integra, back then, black rims, Momo arrows, fucking system, tweeters, diamonds, JBL, fucking subwoofer. Like, there's a lot of things that I like to do besides the sports and whatnot. But it was a little weird, like going somewhere and like literally everyone, they're like, oh, you're Mr. Michalek's son. Oh, you're Mr. Michalek. Like everybody, like it was cool, but it was also weird, because everyone had this like idea of who you were even before you even got there and whatnot. So crazy stuff. But I still get stopped like in random towns when I'll go to certain places and they'll see my last name if they see my ID and they're like, oh, or they remember. They're like, oh, what's your dad up to or this or that and whatnot. So he's kind of a legend. Legend dog. Oh, university. Yeah. And then one of these days, I'll have to try to hook you up with something Ducks do. My boy Collegiate Art Designs told me to keep hush about it, but he's working on some new stuff, officially licensed stuff, the creative shit, like a dope shit that I would wear if I go to the game, right? And it's something that's never been done yet. So once he gets all these things kind of finished, and then he'll end up sending me stuff, and then maybe I'll be able to send you one. So I can't talk on it yet because it's still like in the works. But when the Oregon game was going against Washington, he was watching the stream, said what's up, and then would send me some video and photos of what he's working on. And the guy is a fucking genius, dude. Like, it's cool to like, I actually know the person that actually, manufactures that merch for the University of Oregon, like officially licensed through the NCAA, not some this rando dude doing it in his garage. It's like the guy is like super legit and whatnot. And I'm good buddies with him. So it's very cool. So I'm always going to get the loop on all the fire Oregon duck, stuff, whether it be chains or signs. And he's got some really cool stuff that lights up with like signs with the O, and it's like you can put it on your wall, plugs in, and then the O will go from green to yellow to pink, like all the colors, and it's like fluorescent, and they have different sizes, different signs that are custom. He does custom signs, custom chains, custom everything. And he's good with like the metal, with the lasers. And back, Schwarber bomb, 2 for 2. Go, baby! The Phillies are winning the World Series. Schwarber bomb. Every day we get a Schwarber bomb. How many Schwarber bombs do we have today? We got 1, 2, 2, baby. Let's go. Schwarber, baby. Schwarber is money. Not Mella is money. Sarah got her autographed Carmella card from Preston today. But man, I mean, that's what I'm telling y'all. If you watch these Phillies, like, as good as the Diamondbacks are, and as good as, Yordan Alvarez is, and Kyle Tucker and Altuve, right? It does not match what Philadelphia is doing. Like, they got 4 legitimate guys in the lineup that I'm going to show the photos of, and each one of these guys can hit 1 or 2 home runs every game. Here's one that just did it today. Here's a guy that started off the game with an error, hit a home run in the bottom of the first. Oh, you might have heard of this guy. Always hated on. One of my favorites. And he's a superstar. And then you got this other guy here, kind of like Schwartz and Turner and Harper, but lower name, Castellanos. And he's a guy that has emerged as like, you know what? Don't worry. If we start sucking, I will get it done. I mean, and that's just 4 out of the 9 guys. And out of the rest of the guys in the lineup, almost every guy in the lineup has the ability to get 1, maybe every 3 to 4 games. So if you get that, then you got mad production. I mean, we have not seen a team hit this many home runs in the postseason ever. We're literally watching history right in front of our very eyes. You guys are goated. 3-0 Phillies. But sometimes the writing is on the wall. Sometimes if you read, but I figured it could be Phillies and Astros unless the Rangers won those first 2 games. Sometimes you just need to say it so the sports gods can hear it, and then it happens. Am I a little shocked that the Rangers went up 2-0 in Houston? A little. As good as Houston is, Dusty Baker, Altuve's cheating ass, right? Yordan Alvarez is hot, right? You got Kyle Tucker. You got so many pieces, there that you just assumed that was going to go either way. But you already instantly know. That's why I knew. If the Astros went up 2-0 at home, it's over. You're not coming back, Texas. The only way, not a split, you had to win both at home. And I said if the Rangers won both and went up 2-0, it's over. And that's exactly what they did. So, if you can win 2 games in Houston and you're already on a 5-game win streak and now you're on a 7-game win streak, I mean, talk about fucking Uncle Mo for the Rangers and the Phillies. It's unbelievable. It's almost like an equal value of Uncle Mo, except you're getting more home runs with the Phillies, and then you're getting the Mo on the other side as well with the Rangers just being hot. Both teams spent money. Oh, coincidentally, they're both going to be in the World Series. Funny how that works out, huh? Dipoto. Oh, Scott Service. We need to spend money. Can we get a Trey Turner? Can we get a Bryce Harper, please? That would be nice. Can we get a Shohei Ohtani? Now, if we get Shohei Ohtani, I'll shut the fuck up. I won't say anything ever again. We get Shohei Ohtani. I will never complain about the Mariner organization never spending money ever again. Go big or go home. And some guys are just really good in the postseason, And also another thing, with Schwarber that many people didn't realize. Did you know? And if you know baseball, everyone in the room pretty much knows, maybe besides Matt because he doesn't follow baseball, but now you'll learn as we're in the chat. You can pick up on all this extra sport knowledge other than football, and you'll be the smartest guy in your friend group easily, right? Schwarber almost motherfucking hit 50 homers in the regular season. How many people realize that when they're pitching to him in the postseason? I don't think very many because they feel that, Schwarber, 18 to 25 homers. No. 45 to 50 homers. And if you know that, why are you pitching to him that way? That's my thing. Common sense. Bryce. Stud, 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 stud. Let's go, baby. Bryce is fun to root for, unless you're just like a hater. But I've always liked Bryce more than Mike Trout, not just because of the Mariners Angel rivalry. I have utmost respect for Mike Trout. You know what I mean? I think he's amazing. But he's just, if I have a choice between, rooting or watching Bryce and or Trout, I'm going to go for Bryce. I think he's more of a clutch player. Like Trout can be the better player overall, Hall of Fame, modern day Mickey Mantle, modern day Willie Mays, fine. You can give him those accolades, but he'll never be Ken Griffey Jr. And I think even though Bryce Harper is lower on the totem pole based off injuries, but who has a chance to actually win a World Series and have a legacy? Because Trout may never win, anything in his career, but Bryce is going to have an opportunity to win a couple before his career is over. And imagine if he wins 2 or 3, that's going to put him on the head of Trout. Trout will have the better body of work in the regular season, but people will remember Bryce over Trout if he ends up winning like 3 World Series. Be like, oh my God, Trout was amazing. But what could have been? But look at this Bryce Harper, though. Like clutch guys coming up in the postseason. You'll remember great regular season performances, but most people are going to remember, what did you do in the World Series? What did you do in the ALCS and the NLCS? That's what people remember. Oh, it would be more than cool. Are you kidding me? The only thing that would be shitty is that everything would go up. A hotel that costs $400 a night would cost $500 a night. If we wanted to get good seats, instead of paying like 100 to 150, we're probably paying 200 or more. Like the Ohtani coming in, everything goes up. The amount of Ohtani jerseys would be insane too. Big swing and a miss, got him. And your boy would get one, but I would want to get like a white one or probably that turquoise blue. Like kind of like in that All-Star jersey color. That would be fire. And plus him being Japanese too, having that Japanese connection for me, we're for Ichiro and Ohtani. And it's crazy to think that positional players from Japan got so good that they literally are considered one of the best of all time in both. Like I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. Like arguably best leadoff hitter besides like a Pete Rose or a Tony Gwynn, Ichiro. I never seen a player come in and he was already pro at Japan for like 7, 8 years before he came to America. If he would came in as a pro when he was in Japan, he would have broke every record, even all the all-time hits, Pete Rose, all that. But I've never seen a guy come in to the big leagues from either college or overseas and go like 5 for 5, 4 for 5, 5 for 6, 4 for 4, 4 for 5, 3 for 5, 5 for 5, 5 for 6. I've never seen that before, and I saw that with Ichiro from like 2001 to 2004. I didn't know what the hell I was watching. I was like, this is insane. Some guys go 0 for 5, 0 for 4. This motherfucker is going 5 for 5, 5 for 6, 4 for 5, and then maybe like a 3 for 5, which is still amazing. And then going right back to 5 for 5, 4 for 5. I was like, wow. That's when someone is on a different level. And then Ohtani pitching and hitting, there's no comparison. Babe Ruth, he's a better pitcher than Babe Ruth. So hopefully he can pitch good again. 3-0 Philadelphia. As if there was any doubt. All right, Kraken's coming on. I reminded myself. Pop up by Bohm. Two outs. All right, they got Tampa Bay and Buffalo about to wrap up. Avalanche and Kraken. Come on, baby. Lefty versus lefty, not righty versus righty. Yeah, that's where I think he first kind of got people's attention was on Chicago. And then I think a lot of people are still sleeping on him. But you can't sleep on a guy like that. Too talented. lower name guy that almost hits 50 home runs and it's getting like 2 home runs every game. Like, what the heck? I'm going to turn this on here. Hold on. I got to hear some, they're about to go to the game. 2-1 Buffalo, 30 seconds left. I do enjoy hockey. Like, maybe I should have did the Kraken game instead, but it's all good. I like being able to watch. I mean, I still was going to watch both. So. Oh, they're going to go into overtime. They just scored. You got to be kidding me. I guess I got to wait then. They scored with 10 seconds to go. Holy shit. Brandon Hagel, 2 goals in the game, too. Wow. Phillies are just like, when you just see a team like when the Dodgers were really, really good and they were like had no weaknesses. The Phillies feel like that to me. As great as Texas is doing, I don't think they're going to be. I mean, I would be shocked. Like, what would be the most shocking thing if like the Rangers play the Phillies and then they sweep them 4-0? I just don't see it. I mean, hell, at this point, I think that the Rangers are good enough to win 2 to 3 or 4 games, but I would assume the Phillies at 6, I think is a respectable thing to say. Give respect to the Rangers winning 2, but maybe the Phillies just being Philadelphia, especially at home. I mean, who the hell is going to beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia? Those fans are just drunk as shit. I got Philly winning at 6. My ESP is usually pretty spot on. I can predict basketball, baseball, football, or hockey, and sometimes I don't even have to watch that much. I can just read and watch basic things throughout the year, and then we can come to a conclusion. As we're watching games late, who's got the Uncle Mo and who doesn't, and then I usually will make a prediction, and then it comes true. Not all the time, but I don't know. You and me were spot on with that Raiders, and they didn't win a fucking game against the Packers in like 20 years. And we were like, nope, they're going to lose. My gut said it. And it's not just I dislike the Packers. I just didn't feel it. I thought this was a trap game. I thought Jordan Love on the road would play like shit, and he did. Trey Turner to third. Runners on the corners. And also, too, when I look at the roster, I like looking for the people that are underappreciated. Because I think anyone that works hard, all of us in the room have felt underappreciated for something that we put our love and our heart and soul into, whether it's a project, whether it's writing wide receiver notes, whether it's focusing on this team or that team or whatever it may be. So I'm always looking at the guys like Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto, right? Brandon Marsh, the guy with the best beard in Major League Baseball, right? Look at the guys like that, because sometimes those guys that you take for granted end up being the unsung heroes. And I love rooting for people that get slept on and that are underappreciated, and then eventually maybe get their flowers eventually. But it just sucks when you are very good at something and you don't get the flowers or the acknowledgement maybe as much as you want. But also, the sports gods, they have a plan. Not everyone's plan is going to be the same. Everyone's got a different lane. So, just because if we don't get the recognition or what we want now, doesn't mean that we're not going to get it. The only way you don't get it is to quit. So as long as you keep it moving, eventually, you will have your day. Oh, fake throw to second. Elliot, you got to watch the Biggest Heist thing. I watched it. I'm a big Drake fan, bro. So, I don't really like a lot of the stuff that he's come out with in the last few albums. Last 2 or 3 albums are really not for me. Every once in a while, we have like 1 track or 2 tracks. But I like the, Nothing Was the Same, the Blue album where he's like facing himself, or Take Care. Like the first 3 or 4, that's me. That's like, that shit drove into my soul. That's where Drake got a majority, like 95% of his fan base, was those first 4 albums. And then a lot of us are still supporting, but we just realized that the type of music that he's making in the last 3 or 4 projects is more for the women, and it's more slow, it's more R&B. We need that heavy hitter, put it in the car, listen to it into the room, that like banger, type of like amazing beat, amazing flow, doesn't even have to have any features, just go off, give us like, give us what you were doing when you were hungry, when you were trying to make it, and then once you made it, like most artists do, and there's a drop off. It's like they're famous, they're rich, they don't work as hard, they're not as creative, they're not putting as much energy into the projects. They're just so famous that they're knowing that they can put out literally anything and it's going to sell, even if it's not up to the standard. Because, if you compare Drake's first 4 to his last 4, there's a big difference. The stuff that he did in his first 4 is like Kanye. That shit is fucking eternal to me. Like, it's sacred to me, Like, you already know when you see my post on Instagram and what song I attach, But like with Kanye, right? Biggie Smalls, fucking Warren G and Nate Dogg, E40. Some of the stuff and some of those songs are just like, like if I'm gonna like have a funeral, like there's the Juicy from Biggie, definitely. I Wonder, Kanye, definitely. A lot of stuff that associates, passion and dreams and also the struggle, and I can relate to that shit in some of those songs and whatnot. And then Nobody Does It Better, Nate Dogg and Warren G. Those are my 3 favorites. There we go. Just like I said, right? A guy that maybe is slept on, that you're not really thinking that's going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, boop, unsung hero. 5-0 Phillies. It's kind of creepy when I say it, and then like all of a sudden 30 seconds later it happens. And I just said, hey, Scott, JT, Brandon, right? And then the sports gods are like, you know what? You're right, O-Dog. Whatever you say, we're going to make it happen. So you're not from here, right? This is, time travel, right? You say it, we'll make it happen. And then 30 seconds later, it happens. For his age, the way that he does the song, obviously, you can tell Drake and the homies trying to like coach him up, like say it like this, but there's certain parts where it doesn't rhyme and it's like it kind of goes stale because he's a kid. It's not going to be fucking bars and bars and bars, but you bet by the time, oh baby, fair ball, go, go, go. This one's over. This one's a 6-0, sliding in a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But once he gets to the point where he's like 10, 12, 13, 15. Oh, it's over. He'll end up being one of the best, especially if he gets taught by anybody in the business. Singers that he's had friends with his dad, or any of his actual personal friends. And then they're just in the lab as he's like retired and he's giving him his flow and he's like telling him what to say and, maybe writing some stuff. And they have ghostwriters and stuff too. But just imagine that scenario. But I guarantee just the popularity of who he is, when his son starts coming out with stuff, he'll get supported like by a billion. Like he'll instantly go platinum. And even if he's kind of raw and shitty at first, he'll grow to get better. And at the very worst, he'll be above average. But he could end up being superstar. It just depends on who he works with and if he can work on his bars and and get better. But hell, the best equipment. Your dad is Drake. He has unlimited friends. yeah, it's almost impossible for him to fail if he really wants to do that. You know, you don't have to be able to be like, you know, I don't even think, like, he doesn't even know, like, what's going to happen. Like, I can already see it. You know, he's going to end up being, like, the biggest. He'll be like Justin Bieber, but it'll be Drake's son. It'll be Adonis. Instead of Bieber, it'll be Adonis. And then it'll be, like, this big, like, Stranger Things, where everyone's buying his shit, and maybe they'll have, like, an Adonis logo, like an A, you know, and it'll be, like, kind of like the owl, you know, for the line. It's kind of like a time traveler, so I can already kind of picture it, you know. He'll have his own little logo and whatnot. Little A with the oboe. They don't talk to my man like that. My man. It is catchy. And that's why you can tell, like, you can tell, like, the Drake inspiration. Like, you can try to make it kind of like a trap song, you know, because if you're a kid, you know, doing trap type stuff, that'll get you popular. You know, we got to be able to hear your flow, and the more white and dirty you look, and if you can rap, then you're going to get popular. You know, and obviously in his case, it's mixed race, but obviously you don't see too many people with, like, the curly red hair, and, you know, and obviously being mixed race. But, like, the more that, you know, he can work on that and then start giving a little influence. I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if at one point just Drake and all the homies will write all his stuff and just, like, keep coaching him up, you know. And, like, it's not going to be perfect right away, especially if you're 5, 6, 7, you know, years old, even until you probably get to 10 to 13. Then you'll start really honing in on your craft because you really start taking it serious. But if you're doing it from, like, 5 to, like, 10, you know, first grade to fourth grade, I mean, how many bars are you going to have from first grade to fourth grade? Even if you have your dad, your brain is only going to be, like, you're only going to be able to handle so much because you're just wanting to hang out with friends and play basketball, and, you know, your dad is Drake and whatnot. But yeah, you bet your ass I watched that shit, dude. And I watched it twice. You know, it's like when I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm going to support this, you know. And, like, you know, it's either you're a fan or you're not. A lot of people are haters. I'm a huge fan. Like, I don't know if you've seen it or whatever, but I actually have one of the most rarest, you know, Drake hoodies. I got the Hotline Bling black, you know, oboe owl hoodie, you know, and even used ones, you know, go for $300-400, you know, and it's like literally the most. It's like got like the goose feather in the inside. Like it's the most comfortable hoodie I've ever owned, and they were usually going for, I think, like $200. You know, when they first came out in, like, 2015, 2016, limited edition. You could only get it at the OVO store in California or New York. They only had a couple of them. And, you know, if you got it on eBay, you had to make sure that you got the receipt. You know, you got, like, everything. And you can't fake it. Because, like, with the OVO brand, the stitching is, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like 1,000. It's like the stitching is top of the line. It's, like, very articulate. And you can tell, like, the way that they did the stitching on the hoodie itself, it's high quality. It's not like some bummy shit that just has, like, the oboe on it and you pay $200 because it's Drake. No, the quality matches Drake. Like, almost like Jordan brand matches Jordan. The Drake oboe matches Drake's, like, famous, you know, swag. And, yeah, it's like I've never worn it, you know, like, really out of the house. You know, it's, like, literally been on money, like, 3 to 5 times, you know, and like I said, you know, brand new, but, you know, obviously never been washed, mint condition. It's incredible, man. I'll never sell it because even, like, if you have brand new ones, you know, if they go for $500, $600, $700 for them, like a hoodie, you know, which is like a jacket, but like this quality is like a jacket, but it's a hoodie, and then obviously that logo is the best. Yeah, and you know I watched it, bro. Yeah, but you can agree if you go back and I know I like lyrics a lot. You know, it's like not just a beat, but lyrics. But it's like sometimes, you know, Drake is so good he can do R&B and the fast hip hop. And majority of the fans like the fast hip hop. Even girls, you know, it's like you want that stuff that sounds good. Sometimes it's like the stuff for the females and the R&B shit is too slow for me. Like, I want to support you, but I'm not feeling this. Like, I like the shit that makes me feel something, cry, you know, get motivated. I listen to old Kanye and old Drake and I get fucking motivated. When I listen to new stuff, I'm not listening to it because it's just not really for me, you know. 6-0 Philadelphia. I'm balling out of control. I'm just getting a message from one of my friends, Joey and Jamie. They have a son, Augie, and she had an alert come up on her debit card, and he's young. He's like a few years old. And I was like, what did he buy? A golden Thanos Infinity Glove with magnetic glowing jewels that are rechargeable. So that motherfucker was fucking expensive. And a Mandalorian costume. And I said, he has good taste. I gotta send now I gotta do the Thanos glove and get the meat or the gift here. Like 5 years old and you're buying shit. That thing is dope with the Infinity Stones, though, as far as like a toy collector is concerned. It's like 5 years old trying to get like $100 things. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Hoffman, baby. And that's over. Well, like I said, Phillies and Rangers is really where it's going to be like the most even World Series we've seen in like a long time. Like really, the Philadelphia has the advantage like Houston did last year, but I think the Rangers, it feels like they're going to win a couple games. Like the Rangers, as good as Philly is, they're not sweeping. Like the Rangers could win 2 to 4 games, and that's kind of unusual. So it'll be fun to watch the World Series this year. And I don't really care who wins. I mean, I'm an American fan and all, but I would rather have the Phillies win personally. I gotta try to find the Kraken. All right, here we go. Kraken. Yeah, normally with me, and I watch a lot of baseball. I mean, I've been watching baseball since the '80s, the mid '80s, and I just feel that I mean, if you're the Rangers, and let's say they win the next 2 games, they're already 7-0, and if they win the next 2 games and they go 9-0, they have a legitimate shot where it's like as much as the Phillies are getting 2 home runs from Schwarber, home runs from Turner, home runs from Bryce, 1 or 2, home runs from Castellanos, that might still not be enough depending on if they get matching stats on the other side. And if maybe the pitching slightly is better, which could happen. So if the pitching slightly is better and they have the same amount of big hitters on that side that produce, it really could go either way. I mean, I think Philadelphia has the advantage, but I mean, if the Rangers won and they end up going in, 9 games in a row and they end up winning it all, like, would anyone really, really be like shocked? I mean, Phillies fans probably would be. They'd be like, no, 2 World Series losses in a row. But if that did happen, that's not the last time they're going to go. Eventually, they're going to climb the mountain and win. But my gut says that Philadelphia is going to be champs this year. That's what Philadelphia in 6. That's what I would say. Now, if I could get Philadelphia in 7, that would be the best. So that way I get one more game. More stats, more legacy, more of a chance for Bryce to cement his legacy. All right, we got 0-0 with the Kraken and the Avalanche. They just got in a fight. Everly and O'Connell right out of the gates. One guy injured, and then he went back and tried to beat the shit out of him. And they're just throwing haymakers at each other. That's why hockey's fun. Yeah. Well, again, if I would have known that it was going to be this much of a blowout, maybe I would have done the Kraken. But there'll be plenty of Kraken opportunities. I like watching two things at once anyways. All right, so I got the Kraken right directly in front of me in theater mode. And then boom, shakalaka right there. I got you guys. And we got this game. We're good to go. Schwarber, 2 solo home runs. Can we get 3 home runs? If anyone could do it, it could be Schwarber. He's the most underappreciated, slept-on player that's left in the playoffs. You know, he's like NWSF. Guy's got extreme talent, right? Works really hard. Doesn't really get the recognition, right? And sometimes you just got to keep going, and eventually you'll have your day. But like I said, I think the average person that watches baseball has no clue that he almost hit 50 homers. We didn't have an Aaron Judge this year, you know, where we're looking at, oh my God, 60, 70 homers. You know, we're not like that. So it's like a lot of people stopped paying attention to the home run. Besides like Olsen, Olsen was hitting a bunch of homers, right? Freddie Freeman and Mookie were doing some good things, right? Then you also had Acuna stealing the bags, getting the homers, right? But it didn't have that special feel like Aaron Judge like the year before. I mean, hell, it forced me to get an Aaron Judge rookie auto, you know. That shit, they got me, fucking hook, line, and sinker. You know, I was like, I got to invest. Gosh, you should have seen the prices on eBay of all that Aaron Judge stuff too. But I don't regret, my purchase because, like I said, if I ever need to sell, I can sell. But there's going to be potential, for it to be, like 700 to 800 to 1,000 to, I'm pretty picky with cards too. Like I have to fall in love with the card for me to get it because there's so many options, graded, non-graded, serial numbered, autographed, piece of jersey inside. Is it up and down or side to side card? Like, it takes like a pretty special card to be like, oh, I'm gonna spend a lot of money on that, or at least try to win the auction. All right, they go to the Kraken. Oh, I would hope that he would go. I mean, you guys got to be able to celebrate something. I mean, it should have been an Eagle championship last year, so that way that you could, double up and whatnot. But the Eagles will get one, but again, it may not be this year. That's just me being with the ESPN and a time traveler and just letting you know. So if you guys don't go, don't be surprised. But I do think that in the next 6 years, you guys will go, and you will win at least one in the next 6 years. So should have been last year to start the dynasty. Yeah, I like him too because he's fucking intense as hell. He's always just fucking, calm and calculated, and then he'll get loud if he needs to. Calls people out when they're being stupid or ask stupid questions, and then just gives it to you straight up. Like, some people think it might be abrasive or rude, but I like it because he's just real. Real recognizes real. Fake people can't handle real people. People that can have self-expression that aren't like sheep, that actually have opinions and don't mind, rocking the mic. You can always tell the best people on the microphone too. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Still 0-0. All right, hold on. All right, Trey Turner, baby. And plus, it's easy for me to root for the Phillies. I've done a bunch of the games. Trey Turner used to be on the Dodgers, and I've always liked Bryce. So, like, I always thought, like, sometimes you need to leave a place to get a new beginning. And it's funny that the year that he left, the next year the Naps won. And I thought that was really shitty. You know, it's like, you know, and I think Bryce kind of took it personal and whatnot. I've always been kind of rooting for him to be able to get that monkey off his back, because if he was there for one more year, they would have won. Or you could be a hater and say, well, we wouldn't have won if he was there. You know, people talking shit. But now you can see, you know, after some of these injury-prone years, that yes, I am one of the best baseball players. Yes, I'm clutch. And how dare you say that if I wasn't there that we wouldn't win? You know, it's like hella disrespectful. So, you know, I think that having him win a World Series or two would be great. Plus, I would give him more pub over Mike Trout. I would love that. Some people hate him, but I like him. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You know, I like Johnny Manziel. Some people don't like him. Okay, that's fine. I like Michael Vick. I don't like what he did with the dogs and shit, but like I like Michael Vick at Virginia Tech. You know, so everyone's gonna, you know, of course, when you do stupid shit off the field or you get in trouble, you know, but sometimes, you know, there's just gonna be certain people that you root for. You know, they fucked up and then maybe they can change. You know, but some people are stupid and they'll continue to be stupid. Stupid is, stupid does. Nice catch. But I'll tell you, man, once you go to a baseball game for the first time, and then once you actually get memorabilia, like if you end up going there and getting a ball, like your boy, I'm telling you, Elliot, the day that you get your first baseball, your mind is going to be blown, dude. It's just like, then you have to go to the card shop and get a case for it, you know, label it, stare at it, look at it, take it out, you have to smell it, smell the grit and the dirt. Sometimes you'll be lucky that baseball will have color on it. Dirt, blues, reds, you know, or maybe where it got hit off the bat, or it got hit off, you know, maybe one of the metal poles. Like all three of mine have all distinctive marks on them, you know, black from the, you know, the bat itself, or when it ends up hitting a railing, or just the discoloration. Like my Kike Hernandez ball too has got the most color on it all around. And I got a ball from the first inning, I got a ball in the fifth inning, and then I got a ball in the ninth inning. So I literally got a baseball in every period of the game. Beginning, in the first inning, Kike Hernandez. In the middle, Aaron Judge. And then at the very end, bottom of the ninth, Julio in his rookie season. Like, it was just insane. I would have been taking a piss, you know, or being in the bathroom, but I decided to go. It was full, and I took a picture at the top. Got a weird feeling. Went back down to my seat, pulled out my phone, messaged my dad, looked up, and then the ball was right there. Like, it dinged. It, like, I saw him hit it. It was in the air. It hit off the handrail, dink, and right in front of me. Right, with not a whole lot of people, you know, going for it. You know, like it was fate. It was insane. Like slow motion. Like how the players say you see it in slow motion, it literally was. Like even the Kike Hernandez, when I saw it coming right at me, I said, oh my God, it's literally coming right to me. And I was like, I'm third in next to the grandma and grandpa, and then the other two guys were in the front row on the aisle. So I had the least likely chance to get it. But luckily, CC Topbeard with a glove dropped it twice. O-Dog scooted in, past the old couple, scooped it with my offhand, my left hand, body checked me, knees bled for 9 innings, but I didn't drop the ball. And I got it, baby. I'll never forget it. I still have scars on my knees to this day. They brought a medic unit and gave me Band-Aids, but I didn't put them on. So fuck it. You know, I went to war. This shit is going. Jordan shorts, little Griffey jersey, knees bleeding. Fuck it. That was an amazing day. Baseball fans don't got any etiquette. Just like 2 out of the 3 people that tried to hurt me to get the ball. You know, that guy body checked me into the steps, and so I would drop the ball because he dropped it twice out of anger. And then the Aaron Judge, you know, the cute blonde, the Karen, you know, she was probably in her mid-20s. She turned around and screamed at me like, you know, for like 30 seconds, and then she slapped my leg. You know, I guess some people feel more entitled than others. You know, I mean, hell, if Aaron Judge is going to throw us a ball, you better catch it. Because if you don't catch it and it goes in the middle of the air, I'm going to Spider-Man that shit. It didn't hit the ground. I didn't push you. I didn't touch you. You know, we all had our hands in there. Your hand, my hand, Preston's glove. And it went up in the air instead of down in front of you. And if it would have bounced in your lap, you would have got it. But it went right at us. There we go. Another score. 8-0. Phillies. Are they good? They're kind of good. And like I said, even before, those underdog role players, what did I say? Specifically, Bo, Stott, Real Muto, Marsh, right? And then all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, it happens. The next inning, it happens. You know, because they feed off the top guys, the Schwarbers, the Turners, the Harper, the Castellanos. And then you get these other guys that are like, those guys are easy outs. No, they're not. They get sneaky good. And that's when you know a team is World Series destiny. Pennant is the destiny. Like the Diamondbacks are getting treated like, you know, like a stepchild. You know, what do they say in like the movies? A redheaded stepchild, whatever reference that may be, right? But I mean, the Diamondbacks are actually a good team, and they were hot as well going in. They're just not as hot as the Rangers and Phillies. They don't have the talent. Uh-oh! Wow! All 3 of them standing next to it. When it rains, it pours. And you got 3 guys on a pop-up, and they can't make the play. This is at the very moment where you know that they know that the series is over. It's completely done. Like, you know, we're not winning games at home. You know, we're fucked. Like, you know, mentally, you have to be able to believe that you're going to win. And they did up to this series. And it showed. They had the utmost confidence. That is unexcusable. You can't have that happen. That's tough. I'm going to check on Paisley real quick. All right, I'm back. I got the Kraken game on, still 0-0. Phillies being Philadelphia. How you doing, Reflect? What's good? Oh, yeah. Zach Wheeler is very good, and Nola was very shaky last year. And if he plays like Wheeler, you can kind of bank on those two guys to carry you. And then, you got the most home runs that we've ever seen in a postseason individually. And the players are on. Even the lower guys in the lineup are making big plays, big singles, big RBIs. And that's when the whole team is clicking. They went last year, and lost. And you have to crawl before you walk. And that's why they're going to win this year. We're going to get a Rangers, Phillies World Series. And hopefully it goes 7. But I assume it will go 6. And then if it ends up happening, people bet on it, you win some money. But if it ends up being Rangers at 6 or Rangers at 7, would I be shocked? Hell no. This might be the most even World Series we've seen in a minute. Because even when Philadelphia came in, they just came in being hot. But this team has more depth. And I feel like the Rangers have depth, the Phillies have depth, and whoever's pitching is going to be better. It could be the Rangers. That might counteract some of the big bats that Philadelphia is getting. So then Philadelphia needs the role players to step up and the crowd to be extra. So that way they don't lose 2 World Series in back-to-back years. But if that does happen, Philly would win a World Series. It just wouldn't be, that's it. That was our chance, and now it's over. They're going to be a team that should be very good for the next 5 to 7 years. So there'll be multiple chances even after this year. Because you got to think with the Braves and the Dodgers, they're not going to be able to do it. And it seems like they're great regular season teams. But even when they have teams that should win it all, they don't even get to the big game. So I would assume Philadelphia is going to turn into the new Dodgers and Braves, where we're going to say, Philadelphia, that's the number 1 team in the National League, no longer Braves and Dodgers. And if that's the case, then things are going to start shifting in the National League. And Astros are always going to be hated, and hell, if the Rangers go, good for them. You can't have the Astros win it every year. Yeah. Well, one team doesn't have a defense. Well, typically, actually both, Stanford and Colorado. But when someone's getting so much love and hype on TV, and then the defense is bad, then sometimes crazy stuff does happen. But also, too, that receiver had almost 300 yards and made a catch on the other player's back. Like one of the best catches I've seen all year. So I know, mercy rule. 10-0. And the Diamondbacks aren't bad. It's like they were the 3rd hottest team. They were hotter than Houston, going in. But it's just that the Rangers and Phillies, have more hot and they're healthy. You got to be hot and healthy, and you have to have depth. And that's the difference between just being hot and healthy, but not having enough depth. That was the definition of the Phillies last year. They just needed a couple more pieces. They either needed Nola to be better, add, obviously Trey Turner was big, and just, still having the same core, but adding a couple significant pieces, spend some money, get the Trey Turner, and hope the pitching staff can do well. And they've taken their pitching and they're hitting up a notch. Pitching has been better, and then also the hitting has just been out of this world. Like home runs. It's like they're in a batting cage. Yeah, but sometimes the writing is on the wall. You can see it. Sometimes I can see it a couple weeks before other people can see it. And then it just happens. History tends to repeat itself. So the more film and the more reading you do, you pick up on tendencies and how things look. And then if you make a prediction, then you can end up making money and being right, Sometimes the opposite happens. In history, it's also meant to be broken. But in sports, history tends to repeat itself more. So if you realize that and you don't look black and white, you look gray area, and you dig deeper with stats, and sometimes things emerge or you see things. That's how it works for me. But the Diamondbacks getting rocked like this would be like the Mariners that we overachieved. It's like we're good, but we're not on the same level as these championship teams. But this is ridiculous. 10-0. But it shows you it's like, Corbin Carroll getting there. It's good for his, legacy. But it just shows you it's like you need like 2 Corbin Carrolls, 2 Ketel Martes. You need like more. You're good, but you're not elite. There's a difference. So good only gets you so far. after that hot and healthy, you start to get a little cold, or maybe you do have an injury or guys start slumping. Like certain teams can't afford for guys to slump. But if you have the depth like Philadelphia and a beard like that, I mean, how can that not be a champion? I mean, are you kidding? The best beard in Major League Baseball. It's Halloween all year round. It's ZZ Top, baby. I love it. Looks like a lot of guys out here like in the Pacific Northwest. You know, lumberjack. I like it. Shit, if you can grow a beard, do it. Rock it. It's a little upkeep, you know, you don't gotta get too crazy with it. Another walk. The beard the first. And I like these throwback jerseys too. That reminds me of Mike Schmidt. Like as soon as I look at that, I'm like, oh, Mike Schmidt. Late 10-0. Well, I'm watching Kraken right now, 0-0. You know that reflected the Kraken lose, they're going to be 0-3-1. It's like you don't want to start off a season with like 3 or 4 losses. Yeah, elite teams will separate themselves. You know, it's either you're a contender or you're a pretender. But even if you get to the Final Four, you know, if you're number 3, number 14, you might get rocked. You know, it just depends on, you know, how deep your team is. You know, we already know pitching is everything, especially in the playoffs. But also it helps if your bats are literally the hottest thing, scorching the earth. Like we've never seen a team hit this many home runs, like solo shots. Like they said it's the number 1 ever. So this is something that we're witnessing up Boston in front of our very eyes. And that's why I usually pick to do these streams. So that way, even if it's not my teams, I want to be there for like crazy. Like show me something that I'm like, oh, okay. I don't like watching a 10-0 game, but if I'm watching something that I'm probably not going to see again for a while, then yeah, I was like, oh, I remember we didn't stream on that. That was that game that was over in like the first inning. It's like Trey Turner makes an error in the top of the first, hits the solo home run in the bottom. I was like, oh, it's over. I had momentum. I was like, yeah. I was like, the only way that you're going to end up beating the Phillies is if you end up getting 3 to 5 runs within the first like 4 innings. And if you don't, then you're screwed because they might score right away. And if they're up 1-0, then they go up 2-0, then 3-0, and then they just hold on to the lead. So, and like I said, it didn't feel like they were good enough to win it last year against the Astros, but it definitely feels like they're the favorite team this year. Even if the Astros sweep or if the Rangers sweep the Astros, I still think people are they're recognizing what Philadelphia is doing. But there'll still be some Ranger lovers out there. Ranges, they say. I mean, the crazy thing is there's no goddamn mercy rule. We're in the fucking NLCS. We're not like in the beginning. This ain't no fucking wild card. This isn't the end of the regular season or to get in. Like, this is like one of the pivotal moments in sports, and you're fucking up 10-0. Against a team that was super hot, the 3rd hottest team in baseball. Phillies, Rangers, Diamondbacks. And then you punk them like this. Fan base is something else too. Like I said, that's a big part of the success also, is having the Eagles and Phillies with their rowdy fans. So it definitely helps them take their presence up a notch. And that single-handedly will help them win a World Series, you know, just based off the crowd and the vibe. Like, what's the biggest home field advantage in baseball? It's in Philadelphia. It's very clear. Just if you watch playoff games and you watch your team, and then you listen to how their crowd sounds compared to yours, theirs is louder. You know, it's like, especially if you can hear it through the TV, you're like, oh, wow, this is something. Like, I'm a Mariners fan, but I'm not stupid. I know what crowds are about because I go to fucking Seahawks games, Mariner games, and fucking Ducks games. So it's like, I know what passion is, you know, because we have it here in the Pacific Northwest just as much as anyone in the Big Ten, like Michigan and Ohio State. It's not like they're louder than us. You know, we're support different. You know, they may be more popular, but, you know, we can do it with the best of the people in the Big 12 or in the SEC or Midwest or East Coast. Like, I get it. Texas football, everything's bigger in Texas. High school football is big in the SEC and Texas and other places, but you know, we got it out here. Those Philadelphia fans, though, man, that's the biggest advantage. And if they keep continuing to have this success, I mean, it could end up being a dynasty. Like, instead of it being the Dodgers and Braves, who we thought, maybe the Phillies will be the team that wins 3 championships in 9 years or something like that, you know? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, you know, if you're looking at the trajectory of each of the teams, you know, you would think Atlanta at some point will be able to make it, right? But the Dodgers are kind of going on a downward spiral, and the Phillies and the Braves are going upward. So the Braves are choking, the Phillies aren't. So maybe this is the beginning of something. Same thing with, like, the Nuggets. We'll find out if Giannis and Dame or what we're going to get there. Or maybe this will be a repeat of the Denver Nuggets, and we have to start recognizing that the Joker, you know, is the best player in the NBA in the world. Even though you got Giannis and these other people, you know, but maybe the Joker is going to prove that he can do triple-double, he's unguardable. We think Giannis has a hard time, and maybe, you know, Dame and Giannis and Middleton can't beat Jamal Murray and the Joker. Maybe, you know, we'll find out. But we should end up getting a Nuggets and Bucks championship. That's a little ESP for you. A little S. Cracking. There we go. Yamamoto. Cracking. The Spokane native scores for us. Thank you. Mayor Yamamoto. Good job, Kraken. Get acclimated to what he looked like before. And then we'll get more updated Kraken stuff, and then we'll be Kraken. Yeah, if I knew it was going to be such a blowout, I would just put it on the Kraken game. I was actually leaning more towards doing the Kraken game, honestly, because it means more to me. You know, but sometimes you got to do based off, like, you know, what the people vote on in the audience. But hell, if you're going to vote and you want me to do the baseball game, but you didn't show up, why did you even vote? Like, don't vote on the polls if you're not going to show up. Like, only vote if you're going to show up, you know, like, because, I mean, we could have did the Kraken. Oh, go. I mean, still watching, but 1-0 Kraken. We are not going to go 3-1. No. Time for the dub. The homecoming. On the Hoko King. And that Kraken. We need to get the dub. Bang. Hara. 1-0 Kraken. Release it. Bang! Thank you. I'm watching too. Yeah, baby. Let's go. And I won't lie. I mean, for me, like, the up tempo for hockey is better for me than baseball. Baseball's slow. You know, it's like it's the slowest. You know, it's like basketball's up tempo, football's up tempo, even hockey's more up tempo. Like you have to be uber patient and have like a lot of commitment to do baseball. If you're not patient, you're not a baseball fan. That's just 100%. If you don't have patience, there's no way you can deal with how slow the game is. And they've even made it go faster than what it used to be. A lot of us would sit here for 2.5, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. But now games get over within 2 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes. And that's a little bit more tolerable for an average baseball fan. So, cracking. For your $2 holla, baby. Yes, 1-0, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. So no problem, my dog. You're the man. Thank you. You're the man. As long as our shots are good, we can have less, but I want them to be on goal. Don't just shoot to shoot, you know, to make it with purpose. Shoot with purpose, you know, and we got to get better, you know, when you know, we got to take advantage. Power plays, you know, aggressive, power plays, good shots on goal. You know, you already know Drew will do good and Drew will do shitty. You know, sometimes he'll do great, sometimes he won't. So on those days that he's not doing good, we got to step up and make sure we're getting 3 to 4 goals. Otherwise, we're going to be racking up losses. You got to make sure you're helping out when he's not at his best. And then when he's at his best and holds the team to 1, we can't have 0. That's pathetic. Like, you got to at least tie and give your team a chance. You got fucking 60 minutes, you're at 0, and then Drew held them to 1. Like, those are the worst. Like, and we'll see those in hockey, where your goalie is just a man, right? Only gave up 1, and maybe it was a cheap one too, and didn't even deserve it, right? Should have been a shutout. And then all of a sudden, all you need is 1 Yamamoto, right? 1 Matty, and then you're good, and then you don't get it. But hopefully we don't have too many of those games. Yeah, we need this bad. I mean, this is must-win game. So we're going to play like it, and that's why we're going to win. Ooh, Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars are going at it tonight, too. Ooh. Zero Kraken. Yeah, I'm watching. Under 2 minutes to go in the first period. Phillies 10, Diamondbacks 0. Why did I do this stream? Could have did the Kraken game instead. You know, but I try to, you know, I have an idea usually most of the time, and then sometimes I'll do a poll. You know, sometimes I'll choose whatever I want to do, but I try to do what I think will, you know, maybe do better. But when you're down to the Final Four in baseball, sometimes you want to, you know, witness that history. I mean, I would have been watching both at the same time anyways. I want to make sure that we're doing a lot of Kraken games on the channel, though, because I want to build that fan base. You know, especially when we're just in the very early birth of the Kraken the first 3 years. So I want to be able to establish myself and do that. So I do plan on trying to do as many Kraken games like I was doing Mariners. If I don't do that many, at least half as many. And I want to do a lot. So I guess I just have to compare it to if the Blazers are on, if Dame is playing with Giannis on the Bucks, or if we have some baseball playoffs. But football and college football will always take precedence. So no matter what's going on, until football ends, unless the game is just absolutely terrible, which they have been on Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night, unfortunately, it's been dog shit. We deserve better as fans, you know. But I guess, I mean, it can also be like, well, it might have not been good, but it was better than we thought. Like in that Bills-Giants game, most people thought, well, 40-0, stupid. You know, I'm not watching, or this is going to suck, right? And then it ended up being where the Bills' defense, you know, still did okay, but the holes were there, and then the offense wasn't there. It's like, for whatever reason, all the defenses decided to come and play in Game 6, Week 6. And then all the good teams on offense look like booty-os. All the good teams on offense, the top teams in the NFL, look like shit. All at the same time. Weird. Yeah, just you and me. And reflect. Yeah, fair weather counts because fair weather will turn into good weather. And then we'll be like, and then more, and then fan, and then down the road, maybe fanatic, but, it all depends on our success, how much time you have that you're going to dedicate, especially if you dedicate Seahawks and Mariners. It's hard to do a third team or a fourth team or a fifth thing. I mean, for me, my time management is insane, dude. Like NFL, and then the Ducks, the college, right? And then obviously with the NHL, and then the NBA, and then the MLB, and then on top of that, I'm a fucking wrestling freak, like Sarah and Odin's son and fucking Air Whitey. So it's like I'm watching AEW, WWE. I follow like Critical Impact and NWW. So it's like I got so many fucking things going on. Like even just being a wrestling fan for WWE would be like, oh my god. But then doing WWE and AEW on top of all of these sports, I mean, it's a lot, but it always keeps me busy and happy, right? So, yeah, you wish. Yeah, you've been taught too well, here in the room by the people in the room, by me and your mom, right? Who's number one mom on planet Earth for you, because when other kids were getting, just crap in their lunch, you were getting the good, right? No one got a better lunch than Elliot. Bacon, like 6 pieces as a kid, every day. Like you think your mom loves you, and then you're like, oh shit, well, Elliot, Jesus, okay. Wait a I'm all here with a peanut butter jelly sandwich, maybe some goldfish, right? Maybe a Squeeze It, which were actually awesome back in the day. If you ever had one, it was like the highlight of your day. Kudos bars, which I still miss. Kudos, cookies and cream. I can literally still taste it. Like if I was in the Matrix, like red pill, blue pill, and you just chew, and then you're like, oh my god, the texture. I can remember it. I haven't had one in, I don't know, 30 years. I miss that. Here's just Elliot with his all-star Dream Team mom. Fucking bacon, not just one piece, like half of the package every day. Bacon boy. Double E, bacon boy. Bacon Kane. That's my friend. 1-0. Crack it. We're doing a review. $10-0 Phillies. I guess I'm still watching that. I'm watching both still. I mean, hell, at this point, when a team is losing this bad, like if a guy gets a home run, give him like 4. Let's make it interesting. They still wouldn't come back. And he got the bacon, the Triscuits, the pineapple, fructose, granola bar, at lunch, most days, all good. God damn, dude. That's delicious. You were living your best life, bro. I'll tell you what, though, in the 80s and 90s, we had some pretty good snacks, though. Like, we had these gummies that were like sharks, like shark bites, and then you would get, they were like blue, but every once in a while they had like a white one in there, and it was like a blueberry like juice in there or whatever. Oh, dude, game over. If you had anyone at your school that had one of those, you traded, right? Or you tried to get it. Or like fruit by the foot, and like, yeah, there was some good stuff. The fireballs at gym. If you did something at gym, you were an all-star, you got a fireball from the gym teacher. Blue Raz, the Blue Raz attack. Yeah. All the Ducks football. All the bacon and Triscuits. Good team. I like watching multiple things at the same time and hang out with you guys. It's like you guys are very good therapy, and it's good because, like I said, even if you have really, really close friends, like I might not, talk on the phone. I really don't like talking on the phone, honestly, just because I did it for a job for like 20 years. And when you talk to like the rudest people on the phone and you know you're good at it, like, it gets to a point where you even have people in your life you should talk to, but it's like, I'd rather be face to face or, just like text message. I don't think I'm the only one. You don't have to work at phone sale or in sales or customer service to be like, you know. But it's always good to be able to have this like camaraderie, like you know, like the brothers and sisters that make it professionally. It's like, you know, NFL is like a brotherhood, WWE is like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. You know, it's like it's nice to be able to have that. You saw someone go off on Dan Lanning? Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, I would only assume that Bo Nix wouldn't be the one that would lose it for us. It would be coaching and play calling. And when you just know your team, you don't really like to bring, you know, that to the forefront. But it's like, you know, when the coach is good, right? Chip Kelly, right? Chip Kelly, good, right? Good, right? Dan Lanning, right? Interception, predicted. 5 seconds before it happened, no turnovers all game. Probably the only one you're going to get all game. Right before halftime, down by 4. Just kick the field goal and get down by 1. Don't be a greedy fuck, right? What do? You go for it, you don't get it. The analytics say that you would have converted that 10% or lower, and you still went for it because you're an idiot, right? Not like Chip Kelly, we lock him. Mike Bellotti, we lock him. Rich Brooks, we lock him. Dan Lanning, not so much. But that's the only way that Oregon's going to lose. It's not going to be based off our players. You know, our players aren't going to really make too many mistakes. At least in history has usually said that. You know, usually it's going to be those bad calls. I mean, just imagine if the Chargers actually had a good coach. You know, they wouldn't be losing like so many games every year. It's like every year they lose 3 to 6 games by like, you know, 1 score or less or 4 points or less. Who the hell does that? The Chargers do. It sucks. It sucks. Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone can see, you know, that was unacceptable. But also, like Mario Cristobal, I normally would defend him over Lanning. And then I can't defend him anymore now because he's an idiot and decided to not heal it. And instead he ended up calling a running play, right? And then they fumble. The team gets the momentum. Uncle Mo, 1 throw, boom, bing bong, scores a touchdown with 1 second, game over. Like, you know, when you do that more than once, he's done it twice, I cannot consider you a good asset to Oregon, even though I didn't like you at Oregon more than anyone else, more than Helfrich, more than Willie Taggart, you know, all these fucking frauds and whatnot. And even though Dan Lanning came from Georgia, you know, I still like Mario Cristobal's realness, or his decision-making was stupid too. Like, all these guys try to be like Chip Kelly, and unless you have LaMichael James and DeAnthony Thomas players, you can't beat Chip Kelly because they're not going to execute, idiot. You know, it's like triple. Ow, got him. That was close. Bryce went for 3. Good effort, though. Good effort, though. He's going to see that safe there at third. I love the effort by Bryce trying to go for 3. I mean, you know, the crowd loves his effort and his hustle. You know, and it's rubbed off on, you know, at least fans that appreciate what he does. Of course, me too. Because we never even get, you know, the shitty thing about a power play? It only lasts 2 minutes. It's a running clock, right? And you hope to get 2 to 4 shots in. But when the Kraken get it, we don't even get a shot. Like, the other team gets the puck and plays keep away. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we can't even get it on our side. And then if we do get it on our side, we can't even get a good shot on goal because they're playing such good defense. That's terrible. You know, and, you know, you don't have to be an expert in hockey to see that. You're like, damn it. You know. But things will get better. A nice fight in the beginning, too. It's like, you injured me. Ow, 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 ow. To the face. To the face. All right, 12 minutes before we get going. My intermissions last forever in hockey. I wish they were not as long. I think that's why it's hard for people to do hockey like baseball, because you have a period and then there's such a break in between. They need to play faster, but they can't because they're skating and they're tired. So it's like they're not AI, they're not robots. But if hockey went quick, it's like first period, and then you start off with a new line, and even if it's not your best players, then it's like a 8-minute break, not like a 20 or 30, it feels like. And then boom, get back in. You just can't start off with your best players in the next period if they're tired, if they finished off the first period. You need some flow, But I think it's like if you're a diehard, it doesn't matter, but it's like baseball too. Sometimes baseball, the flow is very, very slow. But it has some patience. Oh, big fights. These guys have been cracking each other in the skull today. They just keep showing it. It's like, ooh, face, uppercut. Bang, bang, bang. This game is still going on. Look at some stats real quick. Alright, so the Bucks lost. We look at game stat line as well as Giannis. All right, Giannis and Lillard both played 25 minutes. Giannis had 18 and 10. Lillard had 5, 4 and 2. Off game for him. Probably one of his worst performances. 2 for 11, but that's not going to be common. That's a bad performance for you, Dave. Dave Dollar. Yeah, I know there's a lot that goes on. Plus, you have to be so athletic to skate, for 20 minutes when you're out there and you're hitting and you're trying to make goals, you're trying to play defense. Like, when people play soccer and hockey, it's even more strenuous, than like a basketball or football. Those are going to be strenuous on the body, but I feel like with the amount of running and skating that goes on in soccer and hockey, that's why some of those athletes are some of the most athletic. Like, you have to really know how to skate, and then those soccer players have to have that endurance. Like someone that's like a marathon runner. So I know, so hard. Like, I remember I had an ex-girlfriend, and then she used to do like street hockey. So as a gift, I bought us all like rollerblades and shit, like expensive ones. And I bought like goalies and sticks and stuff that would glue in the dark, and just like so you can go mob around in like the neighborhood or whatever, and then and then try it out and see if you can actually skate and actually like score goals and whatnot. So it was actually pretty cool. And it's crazy to think that like some like they have like higher end roller skates and stuff, and people still do that. That was one of the 70s, 80s thing. But this actual roller blades, like they have high end stuff that's like, you would think, oh, $100, $200. No, like they got shit that's like 500, 800, 1,000, like top of the end wheels, top of the end, designs and everything. And like I never bought anything like that. But I definitely would spend some money on some good hockey sticks, because I remember getting my first one and I broke it within the first like 30 minutes, shooting a few goals and whatnot. I was like, oh, this is too cheap. So, and then you got to wrap it with the tape and everything. And then getting a couple nets and goals set up. It was fun, man. But I'll tell you what, I never did it before. I never was one of those kids that actually roller skated or rollerbladed. I never did it. I was a good athlete. I just never did it. And it was awkward at first, but I got the hang of it. But I feel that if I wasn't as athletic in sports with like football, baseball, basketball, I don't think I would be able to do it. Like that rollerblading shit is like, you got to really have good balance, and you have to have like good mechanics. It's like riding a bike, but like more difficult. And you have to know how to stop, especially if like you're going, like you're gonna wipe out, Yeah, I can do that. I can actually turn it off. Sometimes I just have it on in the background. I got you. Yeah, because I got stuff that's coming on through the audio where I'm listening, where it's not coming through, where you guys can hear it, but I got multiple channels on that I'm listening to here, so you guys just can't hear it on your end. Oh, no shit. That's awesome. How many times did you fall? Falling sucks. Like especially when you fall into like ice and stuff. Like yeah, butt, tailbone bruise, leg bruise. Yeah, I can imagine that would be fun. I don't know if I'm that brave though. I mean, I don't like because like I've never done skates, so I think like I know I would fall and I wouldn't be embarrassed to fall, but it's like I would want to at least like be able to stay upright so I could like float, and just kind of like sit there and just kind of go, you know. I'd be jealous of those people that can go fast. They're no triple Lutzes for your boy. No Nancy Kerrigan or Tanya Harding for your boy. Triple Lutz cow. Triple Lutz. Sour cow. Oh yeah, Orion is in the game. Orion, Kirkering. How many Orions are in Major League Baseball? There's one. What are the chances of that happening? Hi, Orion watching Orion on the mound. Same as though the same way. Dad cried when he ended up getting his debut. I saw the video, and not many. Hopefully, he does well. We don't want to give Orion a bad name. No, you're good. Sometimes I just have it on in the background, and like I said, if I have it on the TV where people can hear the game that's going on, but like sometimes if I'm watching it through like TBS through the cable provider, but I'm watching it on the computer, the audio portion doesn't come through on your guys' end, even if I have it full blast. And then other things will come through and some won't. So I got both games on right now. I got the Kraken where they're showing the Oilers highlights, and I got the matchup here. So you're good. Top of the ninth, 10-0 Phillies. Orion is on the mound. And let's see if he can get Tommy Ryan. Pitch is high, 2-2 count. Oh, I bet. You feel just once, or you're athletic then. Yeah, always, you got something going on, like I said. Just let me know. There we go, Ryan. One away. Oh, Ryan with the punch out. I think he's the only Orion in Major League Baseball. I mean, it's not a very common name. Edmonton's Wayne Gretzky. If I was going to get a Wayne Gretzky, a lot of people would get like a Kings, but I would want to get the Edmonton. That would be the one that I would want. The Kings is a cool look though too. But if it was like black or white, I'd probably do the white one. But they're pretty stylish, expensive too. Yeah, it's a cool combo. It really the logo's cool. It's just and then especially when you go back to like what they looked like in the 70s and the 80s and 90s, like some of the logos and styles. Like one I really remember is like the Dallas Stars with Brett Hull. Like there's certain designs that are like they're kind of iconic, and some haven't changed, like the Pittsburgh Penguins really that much, or Boston Bruins. Nice base hit there by Walker. Come on, Orion. One out single by Orion. Oh, really? Nice. I think it's become a little bit more popular within the last 15 years. But if it was like 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't as many. But then, obviously a lot of the 80s and 90s babies, RoboCop, Orion Pictures, Orion appliances with VCRs and TVs that probably broke down. But Constellation, Orion's Belt, which is one of the cooler constellations. I guess that could have been a Hercules or something, but I would say that's probably the coolest one to be named after. Could have been a Ryan or a Brian or an O'Brien. No Irish, no apostrophe. 0-2. Come on, Orion. Let's go. Kirkering. Do it, O-Dog. Orion with the pitch outside. 1-2 count. Specialist. Got him. There we go, baby. Good job, Ryan. And his dad is a really good dude. '99 miles an hour for Orion. Ah, he's got the skills. Good job, O-Dog. Don't worry, I've been waiting. Get him, O-Dog. Get him. Pitch is low. 2-1 count. Oh, doggy dog. More than one O-Doggy dog out there. 5 nights at Brady's. Yeah, things get really, really heavy in the last like 2 weeks. It's like you can kind of get going if you like the horror stuff and the Halloween stuff the first 2 weeks, but then it really starts getting poured on with like posts and stuff on TV, and marathons and whatnot. It'll be like those last 2 weeks, which essentially starts today. So from here on out, now it gets serious. Like I don't really like a lot of the psychological horror stuff because it kind of messes with my mental health. But if I watch some, then I can do it. But I can't, depending on what it is. But I did enjoy the Jeffrey Dahmer. I did enjoy the Jeffrey Dahmer. That one was good. We have like little shows and whatnot, and I'm very curious, with stuff with like different crime stuff and heist stuff. I'm always on History and Discovery. It's like my favorite to go to. I like if I can learn something new every day, that's the goal. So it's like boom, History, Discovery. That's where I go. And then animals, boom, Nat Geo. Hellraiser. There you go. That's a good one. All right. 10-0 Phillies. Top of the ninth. Runner at first. 3-2 count. Kirkering, Orion on the mound. Smoke him with 100 mile an hour. Got him. Oh, Orion is good. Nice job, O-Dog. That's how you finish him off. You ask and you shall receive. Well, now you know the Phillies are going to win. They got an Orion on their team. It's over. World Series champs. Game over. The sports gods are like, here you go, Ryan. You want to sign? There it is. There it is. Phillies in 6. You got it right, O-Dog. Time traveler. ESP. Put your bets in. Boom shakalaka. Thank you, sports gods. Oh yeah, because he really loves his son. I'm a sucker for like emotion. Like when I like, it's kind of crazy for me. Like for me to get like excited or like cry, it's like when I see people being like good to each other, that like gets me to tear up. Because we just see so many people be so fucking rude and mean to each other so often. It's like when you see like things that are real and they're not staged on the internet for people to get views or have this like fake compassion, like, oh, look at me, I'm doing something nice, but it's all staged. You already like told them you're going to be doing this for them before you started the film, or whatever, got permission. Like you can definitely tell people that do it for clout and that are fake, but it's like anytime you see something where it's like someone does something like truly from the heart, that would get to my heartstrings a little bit. We don't see too much of it though. All right, I gotta put the Kraken on. Hold up. I'm gonna turn this Kraken on. Kraken on ESPN. ESPN watch. Nuggets and Clippers. Ooh, Stars and Golden Knights. Avalanche and Kraken. Yes. There it is. You gonna go see it, guy? You like horror stuff? All right, I'm watching the Kraken now. So we're at 1-0 Kraken. Second period just started. Power plays, we haven't been good. Shots on goal, we haven't been good. Defense has been good at times. Not enough shots on goal. A couple injuries. Just got to give Drew a little help. And we're up 1-0, so we're definitely winning today. Colorado's good enough to score in a blink of an eye, and all of a sudden we're down 2-1. So they have to keep the foot on the gas pedal for that. You're gonna go Yamamoto? Yeah, if I get a jersey, I'm getting Matty. That's who I'm getting. Oh, and just like that, there's the goal. You talk about it like Colorado's good enough to score with a blink of an eye. 10 seconds later, Colorado scores. Damn it. Well, I better not say anything more about Colorado, otherwise they're going to score some more goals. Sports gods are like, whatever he says, that's what's going to happen. Say it. Okay, boom, there it is. 10 seconds later. I mean, I said it in like maybe they'll get it later. Sports gods, like second or third period, not 10 seconds later. Golly, can I just enjoy the 1-0 lead? Like now, I finally get to watch the game, and now I say that, and now it's 1-1. Golly. Oh, you did? That's my favorite. I feel like Netflix. You don't have as much good stuff on there unless you get something like Stranger Things. I think Prime is my favorite. Like Prime and Hulu are worth the money. Anything else, it has to be a personal preference. But I think that there's a lot of stuff that is enjoyable on Prime, and then obviously you have Hulu if you have like the TV show stuff too. But and then I do the Peacock one for WWE only. So yeah, Penn State, Ohio State, I'll be watching. I'll be scouting for NFL talent. Oh, that's pretty good. You can tell when I miss the Mariners. The Mariners are not even playing, and I have the do rag on like if the Mariners are playing. The hat, the T-shirt, the jersey, and the chain. But when you love your team and you miss it, you know how that goes. My game is on ESPN for this Kraken. If anyone is interested, you can watch it on your app through your cable, or there's all streaming sites on there as well and whatnot. But I mean, it's on ESPN. That's college football game of the week. Washington State versus Oregon and Utah versus USC. Oregon State is fun to watch. Hopefully, we don't lose to them. Colorado power play was slashing with Justin Schultz. I wanted to be able to like soak in that 1-0 lead. I was hoping until the third period, you know. But when you're a team like Colorado, who should be towards the top in their division, yeah, it's going to be tough to be able to shut out a team like that. Like Colorado easily could be a 2 to 5 goal team almost every night. So it's like eventually they were going to get theirs, but I just wish it was the third period. Can't lose tonight. I agree, guy. It's not worth it to me. I felt like when you go to the top 10, like I only want to watch maybe one or two things, and it's not like, oh my god, I got to watch it right now. Like it's like maybe I'll watch it, maybe I won't. Like that shouldn't be what's on there. I know they have a lot of things, but it's like top 10 movies, top 10 of their top 10. most of the time I look at it and it's like old and like every 3 months something is good, but it's not like good every month. And I feel that if you're going to be paying $5 to $15 a month and you're not even watching it, why do you have it? Like, so that way you don't have to restart your subscription. Like, you should be able to keep it moving every month. Like, keep adding new things, have original content, and be like Hulu and Prime. Either do the reruns of the shows on the networks or do like Prime does, where they have basic stuff. Prime will give you the cartoons, you get the movies, you get the original content, the shows. Like, I feel Prime is the most underrated. It's like you get the most bang for your buck with Prime, and Hulu too. Did they do a close up? I didn't even see it. All right, power play is just about to end. Seattle's got 20 shots on goal. Colorado's 10. So we're knotted up at one. I need Maddie to score. Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, those are definitely worth seeing. Well, the world will shut down 100%, like Game of Thrones, but like this is going to even be bigger. This is going to be like once Stranger Things comes out, it'll literally the world will shut down. It's like when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, the world will shut down. Like, it's going to be a crazy, crazy thing. Like the video game market will stand still, and TV shows, everything else gets put on the back burner. Like everyone for 2 days when that comes out, like and I might be one of those crazy people where it comes out at like midnight the night before. Shit, maybe I'm watching at 12:01, but I'll definitely binge the whole thing within 2 days because I want to give myself some sleep and like feel good about it. That's a good question. Oh, all right, hold on, I gotta switch everything up here. If I'm gonna stay here for just a second, I gotta switch this shit. Hold on. And just like that, we turned into a hockey stream. I gotta fix one more thing. Oh, boom, shakalaka. You want to know what a real man looks like? You look at Pete Stemrowski. Look at him. That's a real man right there. Hockey cards go. Boom. Kraken. Boom. Hockey cards. Boom. Boom. Just like that. Boom shakalaka. Technology. And now we're a hockey stream. That's how we do it. Yeah, I agree. High def TV. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Especially because the action is so fast and you're looking at a little puck. You really have to pay attention. Otherwise you're just going to be like looking into space. Like looking like where am I looking? Like you have to really pay attention. So maybe this will give the Kraken the luck that we need. You know, instead of just continuing to have the baseball stuff. It's like I got to be able to look at my vintage hockey guys. All right. Until tomorrow. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Appreciate you. 12 doll hairs. And then, like I said, I got to be able to go exercise with Paisley and eat dinner. But I definitely want to try to watch at least a little bit of this because I was going to either do the baseball game or this. So I probably won't stay here for the whole Kraken matchup. But we're gonna just hang out here for a little bit, and then once Paisley comes in here and starts whining, that'll probably be my cue. So, but if the Kraken is on, I'm gonna be watching this anyway. So unless I decide to go take Paisley for a walk, but I mean, I'm a fan. I want to watch. So, I mean, shit, if I didn't care, the hockey cards wouldn't come up and the scoreboard wouldn't change. So, obviously, if I did that, then I care. I like it when they bring up the names with the players. So that way, if you're inexperienced or you don't know body shape yet, then you're like, oh, that's okay, boom. Like having those little graphics, that's better than having the puck glow like they did at the All Star games. Like, give me puck glowing is cool, but give me the names above, like in NHL, like in the old video games. So that way we know who's who, like how they have it right now. I like that because not everyone can, see body size, especially when you're farther away watching it. Like sometimes in the NBA, we know who guys are based off body shape. Even if we can't really tell the number, you kind of have an idea who it is. Hockey much harder, farther away camera, and there's the bodies are moving too fast. All right, take it easy, brother. We got 9 minutes, so we'll see if I can make it here.
Milo caught a fish!
Back to the lake. Thanks.
Bye, fishy.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Got blocked on the way in. Bounces off the end boards. Yamamoto toward the net. Tried to poke it home. And Cartier hit it off the iron. And now the Kraken score!
Kraken colors are nice. Definitely a very Seattle Pacific Northwest vibe. We throw up some Kraken photos while we're just waiting. I haven't been able to do every game or anything, so at least I got the first game in, which was important to me. And then I got to manage football and baseball and basketball, but I want to be able to do as much as I can, especially if I care about the particular team. So regardless if we're bad or good, it doesn't matter. I still want to watch. So. It's my guy right here, Maddie. Paisley and see how things are going. And then we'll stay out for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then I'll probably just call it a night. So give me one second here. All right. I just met Paisley in the hallway, so we both had that kind of vibe where we were thinking of each other, and now she's looking at me in the hallway. So I'm gonna go now because she's already been very, very good, and she usually, if I tell her to go lay down and take a nap on the couch, and she won't make a fuss for like hours, sometimes like 3 hours. She'll just be so well behaved, no whining or any type of problem. So I want to make sure we spend some good time together, and we'll probably go for another walk, and I'll watch the rest of this Kraken game. Release the Kraken. Hopefully we can get this dub. We need to get this dub desperately, and I hope everyone enjoyed everything that we did today. And I wish that the game was better, with the Phillies winning the way that they did. But that shows you how good Philadelphia is this year. Phillies, Rangers, and then you guys are awesome. And then as far as tomorrow is concerned, before I go, let's just take a quick peek here as I modified everything for one sport to the next. Let's look. Tomorrow, Astros, Rangers at 5. So I guess that's what we're doing tomorrow. We're going to do the Astros and Rangers at 5 o'clock. And then we're going to take a sneak peek at that team over there. And then we'll go from that. So I'm going to hang out with Paisley. You guys are the best. I love you, and I appreciate you. And I'll be back tomorrow. You guys are awesome. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Yang.